Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Misericorde. Can I full screen you? Yes, that works. Yeah, so I don't want to play a game. Like, I don't know, like last night anyway, I wasn't really feeling like playing a game that required too much, physical effort, I guess. So we're checking out Misericorde, which is, I'm pretty sure it's a visual novel. Let me make sure everything is working fine. Audio seems to be fine. It's a visual novel set in like the 15th century. It's about nuns. And it's a murder mystery, I think. This is volume 1. I don't know if volume 1 is like a complete story or not, but we'll see how it goes. I also don't know how long this will take. It'll probably, like, I think we're just trying it out today. I might have to take notes so that I remember what's happening. We'll see, I guess. Where should I take notes on? Should I take notes? This is an extravagant opening sequence. Is it stock footage? Do you think? There's a sword sticking out of her head. Do you think that's relevant? So there is a volume 2, but I don't know how connected they are. We'll probably have this game on like the back burner, in case I just don't feel like playing something else. Good to have a game that does that, I guess. To hold that spot, because I currently don't have anything. All right, so let's load. Oh, wait, okay, so this is a Renpai game. You can tell from the menus. I can't. Why is the fading so weird? Like, why is it so stuttery? What resolution is this in? Auto forward, text speed. Let's turn the music down a tad. Oh, a tad. All right, let's just start the game and see what's up. What's up? I'm pretty sure it's not voice. That's a Misericorde. A ledge projecting from the underside of a hinged seat in a choir stall, which, when the seat is turned up, gives support to someone standing. A special room in a monastery, in which some relaxations of the monastery. Small dagger. This story is set in a monastery in the 1400s. Characters will say, do, and believe unpleasant things. Violence, xenophobia, racism, sexism, and other serious topics are part of this story. A warning to us all. Alright, so yeah, I'm pretty sure this is not voice, so we're gonna have to come up with our own voices for all these characters. Alright, before we get started, I think I am gonna take notes. Oh yeah, this game does not, like, the full screen does not agree with this game. We'll just maximize it. Oops. And we'll open up Obsidian. Alright. So, let's see. Just in case we're taking notes here, this isn't like a puzzle game as far as I know. So, this is just exclusively so that we can remember everything that needs to be remembered. All right, I missed the first piece of text and I can't go back. Yeah, I can't. Oh, yeah, you can't view history. Oh, I can. It was a dreadful summer's night. There you go. The sun had set several hours ago, but the air was still heavy and wet. Too cold to go without a shawl, too warm to be comfortable in one. Such are English summers. Okay, I guess everyone's gonna be English in this one. Their temperatures never rise above those in faraway lands, but they manage to be uncomfortable all the same. All right, we're gonna full screen this. This looks ugly without full screen, but it's also performs badly full screen. Even the stately home was not free from discomfort. Some might say, if you complained about the stuffiness within earshot, that this is what makes England such a fair country. Even the seasonal annoyances God granted us are unique. At any rate, it was clearly too muggy to be wearing a heavy cloak. Yet a man on horseback had appeared, thick cloak drawn tightly around his shoulders and face, on the road to the estate. He brought his horse from a gallop to a saunter as soon as he saw candlelight in the windows ahead. Coming to a stop, he tied his horse to a post and hurried to the front door of the estate to request entry. Oops. A servant called out to the man from behind the door he was pounding upon. Did I miss something? Did I accidentally? Yeah. No, I didn't. Okay. Go away, by God, go away! Is the master of the house home? It is absolutely imperative I speak with him. I could not answer that even if I desired, sir. I must ask you to leave, lest I send a rider to call for the guard. I could see candlelight in his window. I know the master is home. Even if he was, this is an absolutely criminal time to be making house calls, sir. I must ask again, politely, for you to leave. Tell him a friend is outside waiting for him. A very good friend indeed. Sir! Whispers could be heard behind the door. The servant had been approached by someone else inside the house, and they were conferring in hushed tones. After a moment, the door was unlatched and swung open to invite the cloaked man inside. The young page was standing just beyond the threshold. He looked concerned. He held a little candle in one hand that flickered in the nighttime breeze. A tall man in expensive clothes stood behind him. The candlelight illuminated his beard and hair in silver. As the cloaked man made his way inside, he pressed a coin into the page's hand. Thank you very much. Oh, well, thank you, sir. And I must beg forgiveness for any offense I caused. I must apologize for my staff. If you had sent a letter ahead... No. It was no trouble at all. It is wise to be paranoid, especially this late. I am the one who must apologize for arriving at such an unseemly hour. But I do have something of utmost urgency to discuss. Of course, my private parlor is upstairs. Should I bring refreshments? Should I bring refreshments? I can... No, that will not be necessary. Off to bed with you. The servant bowed and scurried out of the foyer. The two men took to the stairs wordlessly, the tall gentleman leading the way to his parlor. The visitor followed, his face still obscured by his cloak's loose hood. Once they reached the parlor, the master of the house walked around the room, lighting candles, before taking a plush seat behind a large wooden desk. He indicated for his guest to sit in the wooden chair in front of him. Instead, the man removed his disguise and sat on one of the more expensive cushioned seats littered about the room. His host eyed the man's muddy riding boots, but said nothing. Beneath the cloak, the mysterious rider was quite handsome. He had sharp features and long silken hair. He was quite a bit shorter than the master of the house, but he carried himself in such a confident manner that it did not matter. He had dressed modestly for travel, but wore a jewelry box worth of rings on his fingers. The taller gentleman drummed his own equally ostentatious rings on the desk, inviting his visitor to speak first. Should I have sent a letter? Banter for my servant's benefit. I'm well aware letters would be inadvisable in our matters, as we're traveling in the dead of night alone just to speak with confidants. You haven't sent any letters, have you? Or written anything down? As I said, merely banter. I am no fool. Good. The long-haired man appeared satisfied and leaned forward in the chair with a smirk. Not that anything we've discussed is untoward. Never. But it pays to be cautious. You're quite correct. Must you agree with everything I say in this manner? As long as you say things that are agreeable, I'm afraid I have no choice. The younger man pulled a smirk even further around his thin face. To business, then. Agreed. Indeed. I bring ill tidings, I'm afraid. The heroic capture of Berwick, early on in the proceedings aside, The Scottish campaign is going quite terribly, but the king is still alive. Not that I expected him to dare lead a siege himself. He bears no wound aside from his pride. Were you hoping a stray arrow might catch him on horseback? I've said nothing of the sort. Oh, don't worry. I can tell you with confidence that this excursion into Scotland has been as disastrous at home as it has been abroad. The general sentiment in the court has become somewhat mutinous. Well, that is good news. Hello, Ali. Welcome in again. Although such sentiment means very little until it inspires action. I would not be surprised if action is taken eventually. Eventually? Eventually. Sooner rather than later. That would be my honest bet. The king's habits make him a plush target. I dare say nature might take its course before any one plot comes together. Thoughts? How interesting. Have you caught wind of any good ones? No. But there is a wide window of opportunity for others to act. I would quite comfortably place money on the king passing in months. The younger man nodded. His wily smirk disappeared as he furrowed his brow deep in thought. We are leaving a lot up to luck. Our hands stay clean, but I'm not sure I trust chance with the future of this country. Chance? 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 It's hard to say that. Even the most careful politicking gives way to chance. I know you must be tired of watching. Waiting. I am. You yourself said the court is restless. How many other plans are there? Plans are there in the middle of being concocted? Every morning as I get dressed, I wonder, who is ahead of me? Who knows something I do not? What if today is the day that someone else finds the will to act, and I lose my opportunity forever? Nobody else has the will to act. Nobody else has the will to act. That much I do know. Perhaps there are courtiers who know something we do not. Perhaps there are plans whispered in rooms like these that are more conclusive. But there is nobody else out there with our will, your will. I would like to believe that. Irregardless, we are acting. We are observing the board while others play. When the time comes, we will know more than anyone. They really want to speak in the most furtive manner possible. You guys are you're just yapping now. All the better if something else happens to catch everyone off guard. There are too many things moving of their own accord to attempt to control anything just yet. And if we can nudge just the right pieces in just the right direction without anyone noticing, we may well get exactly what we want without having to do anything. The younger man nodded thoughtfully. He leaned back in the soft velvet seat and crossed his legs. In appearance, he was much more relaxed than a moment ago. However, when he spoke again, it was with surprising venom. What do you want? Why, the same as you, of course. England has a jester for a king. His mistakes must be rectified. So this is about justice for you. It is about course correction. Do you doubt me? I know you are cautious, paranoid, but you must be able to put your faith in someone, and I assure you, that is me. But what do you want? I don't understand. It's a rather simple question. It's nonsense. What do you want? I want the same thing as you do. I want to kill the bloody King of England. The younger man grinned wickedly. My God, man. He just buckled after 2 questions. Because I wish to answer you truthfully. If anyone else ever inquires, I can assure you. The visitor appeared relaxed once more and waved his hand to swat away his host's excuses. Bah. I hope you'll do better than that if anyone truly presses you. I shall endeavor to keep it a secret. As I have until now, and as I always shall. Huh. Well, we are on the subject of security. We know the king is poised to be acted against, but is there not a chance certain undesirable elements might be the ones to act? Are we prepared to deal with them? Lancaster loyalists? Yes. We're deep in the War of the Roses, aren't we? Hold on a second. Gotta pour myself some water, cause this gum's gonna destroy my throat. It'd be a bit of a headache if they beat us to the punch, would it not? Surely, those whispers haven't dissipated entirely. It is certainly wise to keep an eye on them. Matters of succession never settle. He gestured around the room. The two were conspiring in, as we are clearly both aware. The younger man put his head in his hands and sighed theatrically. God almighty, I would have thought Scotland was enough to deal with on its own. Speaking of lineage, however, his son... That matter is being attended to, I assure you. So certain you are. I thought you were avoiding getting involved directly. We are? However, I've discovered a piece that can be nudged. We are not seated at the chess game. We can influence the player. Yes, you've already used that one. Very well. This is nothing too grim you're referring to, I trust? Not at all. A matter of paperwork. Nothing more, nothing less. However, you mentioned security. I wanted to propose something to you. Through my various connections, I am owed many favors, and I'm owed one in particular that might be useful. Should you ever need a place to lay low? Why should I need to lay low? You should never need to. But as you say, it pays to be paranoid. Huh. The master of the house took a roll of parchment out from his desk and spread it across the desk in front of him. His visitor finally arose from the plush seat and strolled over to join in. The map was messy, ugly, perhaps poorly copied. Nevertheless, both men studied it carefully. The master of the house pointed to a spot on the map in the northern hills of England. A monastery. An abbey well away from any conflict of note. It is remote, far away even from the village it serves, and sparsely attended. You would be made quite comfortable for the duration of your stay. You are owed some very odd favors. Did a lover of yours take vows? I correspond with the bishop who administers the Eucharist to the nuns there, who has connections of his own, and so on and so forth. He has sought my help in a few matters, and I in his. And it's your turn next, I take it. This is as safe a place as you could possibly find. A peaceful little community, far away from angry courtiers or Lancasters. Anyone for that matter. Perhaps if you were to take, say, a holiday, a trip into the hills when Christmas comes to sample the wine. It's that sort of abbey. One of the finest of that sort. And while you were there, nobody could possibly blame you for anything that might happen to the king. Enough. I will consider it. Wonderful. Alright. So to summarize, these two men are part of conspiracy to get rid of the king. And in order to remove suspicion from him, this younger man, whoever he is, we don't know who he is, really, is going to be hiding at the abbey. It's not really a convent, I guess. The younger man reached into his fashionable doublet and produced, is it doublet or doublet? And produced a small purse, which he dropped onto the map in front of his host. This is not for services rendered. This is a gift for a friend who provides stimulating conversation. My thanks to you. The map was rolled up and swept back into a drawer, and a bottle was placed on the table in its stead. Now then, while I have you here, would you care for a drink? I guess that's where that scene ends. Alright. England, 1483. Here we are at the convent, I guess. Let's quick save. Oh. Hello there. You thought to come and keep me company? I'm flattered. But I do not need your sympathy. Everyone gets lonely. I wonder who's talking. My situation is not unique. No matter how many people they could surround themselves with, no matter how sociable they are in their day-to-day, everyone has an emptiness inside them that cannot be filled. We are insatiable. To know someone is to demand more and more of them. More laughter, more nods as we pass each other in the hallway. More shoulders to cry on, more promises to keep. Promises to keep. Once you've tasted companionship, it's impossible not to yearn for it constantly. To strip away little pieces from people, like a carrion bird. I'm better off in here, without that hunger, that temptation. I may be locked in a little cell all by myself, but you needn't waste your time with me. Or is that you're lonely too? And perhaps you'd like me to change the subject to something a bit less melancholy? That is a shame. I must apologize. If it's company you're after, you're stuck with me and my amusings for now. There's no point in belaboring all of this. What's done is done. But I suppose I'm not going anywhere. I could pretend to be an anchoress once more, for old time's sake, an anchoress. Alright, so let's do this real fast. Alright, so the plot so far. Two co-conspirators plotting the death of the King of England. I guess talk, have a little chat. The younger man is given information about an abbey where he can hide from the Lancasters so that he is not suspected of the plot. Keywords. Anchoress. What is an anchoress? Does Obsidian have... Welcome, Miss Flats, by the way. Alright. Obsidian... Does it have definition list marked down? Alright, I guess it doesn't have it by default, so we're just gonna do... What was it? DT and DD? Something like that? Anchoress. Yeah. The end lady on a tug-of-war team. I mean, it would make sense for nuns to have tug-of-war teams, right? You understand the duties of a proper anchoress. You understand the duties of a proper anchoress, I'm assuming? No, I don't. It's more or less what we're doing right now. You have questions and I have answers. That is all, really. I just have a more flowery opinion of the work, but that's all it boils down to. Answers questions? I guess we could just look it up. What is an anchoress? I would read scripture and copy scripture to prepare for moments like this. Reading and writing. Questions and answers. Thank God I have the answers. Questions without answers make me feel the loneliest of all. It all began about a year ago. Answering questions was my life's purpose. I sat in this room and studied scripture day in, day out, hoping that when someone came to me with a question, I'd have an answer. And let me be perfectly clear. This was a purpose, not a vocation. There's a rite of consecration and everything. That's right, speaking to someone who is a bit like a living... speaking to someone who is a bit like a living saint. Are you moved? This speaker is very silly. Do you feel particularly rapturous? A wed? Well, please don't. I don't live that way anymore. Just because I'm stuck in here doesn't mean I get all of that back. I turned my back on my duties, all because I got caught up in a worldly mess I had no business with. Anyway, before all that, I never left this room. I lived in here as long as I can remember. Meals delivered every day through the squint. The Eucharist performed by the visiting bishop through the squint. Laundry passed and forth through the back and forth through the squint. My apologies. The hagioscope is the proper term. It's what we're talking through right now. I don't mean to be dramatic, but I always assumed I'd die in here. Why wouldn't I? I had everything I needed. Honestly, that's not a complaint. I loved my work, even if most of the questions I got were incredibly frivolous. I'd helped other sisters win arguments. Is God really never mentioned in Esther? That kind of thing. He is not, in case you're wondering. I cherished every question I was asked. I was just happy to get them because I was, yes, lonely. I did not realize it at the time, but I was. The excitement I felt when someone arrived with a question for me was, I thought, the manifestation of my duty as anchoress. A sense of fulfillment for being theologically helpful. That might have been part of it, but really I was only hoping to have someone to talk to. All the gods are mentioned in polyester. I don't know, it seems artificial to me. Anyway, 9 times out of 10, the questions I answered were nothing but idle conversation. But one day... Hello? Still... Oh, last year. Okay, England, 1482. I had no idea who it was at first. Okay, she's got an accent now. Because she's actually going to be a character. I had no idea who it was at first. I can't see through the hagioscope. It's for privacy's sake, you see. If some poor soul were to come to me with a question about his marriage, do you think it'd be fair if I could see him? If he could see me, do you think he'd be able to ask me what he really wanted to ask me? No, of course, that's never happened. He's gonna walk all the way up that hill, just to ask me for marital advice. The point is, I have no idea who's on the other end of this. The door on your end looks, save for the little hatch to speak and pass this and that through. You're quite muffled, by the way. Speak up. Don't worry yourself too much about it, though. There's not much to be done about the echo. Sorry. If you were waiting for me to have some revelatory moment of recognition based on your voice, you're out of luck. Unless you tell me directly, I won't know who you are. Actually, you know what? Please don't tell me. Perhaps I'll guess later. We can make a game of it. It's safer, but it's dreadfully boring being back in here. For all I know, you could be here to mock me, or worse. If I knew who you were for certain, I might not be telling you any of this. But you've caught me in a chatty mood, and I'm willing to throw caution to the winds. Let's just leave it at that for now, and return to the story about a different visitor. Is anyone there? Yes? I apologize. That's a rather silly question, isn't it? Not at all. I could have been sleeping. I suppose that is true. You'd still be there, though, if that were the case. Oh my. Very philosophical. Someone came prepared, didn't she? Yes, I was a little more chipper back. You're not chipper now? You seem pretty chipper still. Philosophical. Alright, so let's see here. Narrator? Used to be the anchoress. Last year, 1492 or 1482? Something like that. When she was, visited, when she had a significant visit. Alright. Now that was a word I wouldn't have expected from you. Unless... You wouldn't happen to have some Aquinas on your shelf, would you? I do indeed. A fair bit, actually. My condolences. What's it like in there? What do you mean? In your cell, what's it like? Well, it's nice, I think. You think? Well, I don't have much of a point of comparison, if that makes sense. You have books? That's an understatement. I have lots and lots of books. And you've read all of them. Many times, yes. So you have lots to compare your existence or your experience to, surely. There are lots of nice places in books. Well, I suppose that's true. Never really thought about it that way. Most places in the texts I tend to read. Religious texts. Christian scripture, yes. Aquinas has a lot to say about architecture, but I can't blame you for not finding his descriptions particularly gripping. There are plenty of nice places in the Bible I can think of, though. Cities and palaces and so on. Nice to look at it, certainly. Physically and comfortable. But spiritually, less so. You're telling me you wouldn't like to have seen, I don't know, King Solomon's palace? Definitely not. It sounds beautiful, but it was built on sin after sin in Kings 11:4. Vanity of vanities, I know. Sorry, I assumed you weren't one of the sisters if you were asking questions about visiting Solomon's palace. This was unlike any conversation I've ever had previously. It was so casual, yet so exhaustive. Or, to put it another way, words themselves weren't detailed, but it was a conversation only people enamored with little details could have. Relaxed, but practiced. After a while, she thanked me and left. And then she started showing up regularly. Alright. When she started having a regular visitor who would chat to her about, I guess, her experiences. I don't remember every last thing we talked about. Usually she would ask one or two questions and things tumbled forward from that point. We would chat about scriptural specifics, argue lightly over minor interpretations of the Bible, and even talk about the finer points of translating Hebrew and Greek into Latin. It was the first time I had ever felt challenged by a visitor. My Greek is terrible and my Hebrew is non-existent, I must admit. We didn't always agree. In fact, I'd hazard a guess that we mostly didn't, but it never felt contentious. We were like expert swordsmen having rigorous sparring sessions. In fact, I did bring that up once or twice. Isn't it funny that the Bible refers to so many soldiers as comely? Why is that funny? Well, you know, a man wrote it. Oh. I don't know what you're implying. Yes, you do. Oh, I don't think that's appropriate. What isn't appropriate? No, really. What I'm saying is it's nice of Samuel to call soldiers comely. Oh, really, you're terrible. It's simply a descriptive embellishment for the reader. No, it isn't. Not a single error, not a single lie. That's not really a lie, though, is it? It puts a picture in your mind the soldier is attractive. Doesn't something immediately spring into your head? Something does, that's for certain. Oh, stop! Do you imagine handsome soldiers often? You sound experienced. This is what? Anyway, it might not have been Samuel. That's true, it could have been Nathan. Or Gad. You think one of them stuck into his house and added comely to some of the descriptions while Samuel was sleeping? Some kind of prank? Some prank that could get someone killed. Just having some fun. Huh. Does that seem right to you, though? No, I feel horrible having joked about it, to tell you the truth. I'm all on edge. No, I mean, does it seem right that a man would probably be stoned to death for, let's suppose, calling another man handsome? But that's just not true. Samuel wrote it and wasn't stoned for it. Samuel gets away with it because it's scripture. People hear it and go, oh well, the Bible is inerrant, so the soldier was handsome. If two Israelite soldiers met and one said, my, you're handsome, he'd certainly get a slap across the face. Is that what you'd do? To a man who called me comely? To a woman. If anyone called me comely, I'd likely just be confused. Oh, come now, don't give me that. Self-deprecating humor gives me the shivers. It's the coward's way of asking for praise. I'm not very attractive. So if someone called me comely, I'd know they were a liar. I do wish you could see me rolling my eyes right now. You'll get nothing from behaving like this. I had no idea what her game was. These weren't theological questions. Honestly, the questions didn't seem to mean much of anything at all. She'd asked them, and by the time it was time for her to leave, we had charted a course around every possible discussion except one that answered the original inquiry. I didn't mind, but I didn't understand either. I still don't. How long have you been stuck in there? As long as I can remember. I don't think I'm stuck, though. I serve the Lord in solitude. It is fulfilling as it is necessary. Have you ever left? I should think not. Never. Absolutely not. Well, I thought you might leave for meals occasionally. Not at all. My meals are given to me through that little door you're behind. Communion as well, when the bishop comes round. How do you use the privy? How do you shit, woman? I have a chamber pot. It gets taken away when my meals are delivered. Goodness me. Must be rather full small to fit through here. And let me get this straight. You swap your... Do not talk about this! And someone has to carry it all the way to the privy to dump it out. Be gone! I don't want to think about it. You know, I was feeling quite sorry for you and your hermetic lifestyle. You get to read and write all day, and your meals are delivered to you. Even trade, right? How else would I live? And your waste collected? Why, you're practically waited on hand and foot, my liege. I am not. You know, sometimes I just tuck it all out of my window. Besides, I didn't ask for this life. It's a responsibility. Ah, they all say that. Noblesse oblige and so on. 'Tis ours the dignity they give to grace. I'm drawing a blank on that one. Oh, it's not a Bible verse. It's the Iliad. I'm not familiar. Goodness, they didn't even give you any fun books. I bristled at that one. Scripture was fun. It's just scripture, though. You know, you can read some Greek. Have a little Greek as a treat. Nothing that doesn't serve my earthly purpose, no. That's no way to get through life, even as a woman of God. What good is scripture if you can't apply it to anything else in life? Studying the Bible is my life. I could sense the strain in her voice at this point. Now you want baklava? Same, actually. If you'll excuse this wretched moment of pity. I'm more than aware of how difficult I was to be around. Not that that's changed. She giggles a lot now, apparently. That's all well and good. But you've got an awfully narrow view of the world from that cell. Do you have a window? To the outside, I mean. Of course! That's good, at least. Have you ever seen the sun? I just told you I have a window. I see lots of sunlight. No. I mean the sun itself. In the sky, and... All the directions. Does your window face east? Or west? You see the sun one way or the other if it did. No, I haven't. Well, don't worry. One day you will. What's that supposed to mean? What do you do for fun? Well, unless that's private. Talking with you is fun. That's very nice to hear. I think this might be the only time I ever knocked off... I think this might be the only time I ever knocked her off balance. I could hear it in her voice, though it was muffled by wood and echoed through the stone. Her commanding tones softened, and her voice grew thinner. Have you ever read any plays? Plays? No. I've only read about the amphitheaters in passing. But you understand the concept, surely? It's very Roman. Greek, but yes. People dressing up and performing. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It feels a little dangerous. Spiritually, I mean. Well, if it makes you feel any better. A lot of plays since the ancient Greek times have been about the Bible. That's nice, I suppose. Careful. Don't let His Holiness Innocent III hear you say that. Is that bad? What did you trick me into saying? Don't worry about it, he's been dead for about 300 years. I'm sure Sixtus won't mind. He's much kinder to the theater. That wasn't funny. It's like you're goading me into blaspheming. I'm sorry, I sort of assumed you would know who the Pope is. I receive very little news in here. If it isn't a matter of complete catastrophe, I probably won't hear about it. As long as the Pope is the Pope and the nation is still part of the Church, news is not exactly material to me. Girl, you... I don't think you understand what's going on in England right now. Oh boy. When was Henry VIII? When was Henry VIII? I don't know when. Henry VIII. Okay. He was not born yet. Okay. Okay. Good. Henry VIII was... Wait, was it Henry VIII or Henry V? Who was the first Anglican king, dude? King James I. Okay. It hasn't happened yet. Okay. Alright. She's not that out of date. Anglican Church. History. Where's the history? Come on. Church of England. Middle Ages, blah blah, Reformation. Okay, yes, it was Henry VIII, and it hasn't happened yet. I was just looking it up, just making sure that I had my dates correct. So okay, she's not out of date yet. She's almost out of date. If this game took place like 50 years later, she'd be out of date. What nation are we in? England? Do you know what year it is? 1482. I'm now what do you take me for? What month is it? Oh dear. Also, welcome in, Mario. How's it going? Thank you for ringing that daily door. I mean, that's not too relevant to me. Mostly I just look outside to tell what season it is. I got a special meal on Christmas. Not much I know. I brought it to you last year. How often have you visited me? Have you visited me now? I'll never tell. Have it your way. What month is it, though? October. Samhain, to be specific. Oh, stop. Has anyone ever pulled any mischief night pranks on you? Mercifully not to my knowledge. I get plenty of mischief from you, though. Fair play. Listen. I need to move on, but I'll bring you a play to read next time. I know. Just the one. I know. I can trust you with handling a book with care at the very least. Alright. I'd like that, I think. Can I ask you something? Of course. Would it be alright if I open this? A squint? No. I'm really sorry. Is that another rule? It is, but I honestly cannot. It locks from that side. I can't open it myself. It needs the key. Of all the luck. Should have thought of that last Christmas. And really, I'm not meant to look through. Of course. You're a very good rule follower, too. And again, if you were to bring me a book, I suppose you'd have to open it, wouldn't you? Wouldn't be able to do much about it if you saw me taking the book, would I? That is true. Oh, she's become mischievous. That sounds like a good idea to me in that case. Alright then. Promise you'll read it. Promise you'll read yeah? Of course! Lovely. Can't wait to discuss it with you. Do you have a crush? Question marks? That's the important part of reading, scripture included. Don't you ever forget that. I'll try not to. There's a good girl. Anyway. Goodbye for now. I'm late for Vespers. Goodbye. Vespers? You do an evening prayers? Or is she a nun? Is she also a nun? I don't know. She never did bring me that play. It's not her fault, I suppose. Alright. After promising to give the narrator a play, after promising on Samhain, 1482, to give the Anchoress a play. Next visit. The visitor stopped visiting, I guess. That's what I'm guessing happened based on this. It's not her fault, I suppose. When I went to sleep that night, all I could hear was an incessant scratching. I should have known then that the devil wanted me. He'd been trying to claw his way into my cell my whole life. An elaborate plan to get to me was taking shape. Well, maybe she died. She died. And that's why she's the narrator. Scratch, scratch. Wait, what's a good way to make the scratch sound? That's not good. I don't have anything that has... Maybe this. Scratch ASMR. It echoed down the hall and threw out myself for what seemed like hours. Shaving away at the walls. Breaking down the barrier that had kept me safe in here for God knows how many years. Inside my head, I dreamed that I was trapped in a small box, pounding and beating against the lid. I should have known. I should have known. I should have known. Oh, I could turn off filters? Oh. No, that doesn't do anything. Are there any other options? Why is this so loud? Every sign pointed to something being wrong. The nagging feeling in your gut when you can't tell something is amiss. Or when you tell something is amiss, you should listen to it. Every time I've acted against it, I've regretted the decision. Against it. For example, usually the food I received in here was actually quite nice. I even looked forward to the fish. But once I received some fish on a Sunday, that smelled terrible. I was so hungry, but I ate it anyway. I was sick for days, naturally. Do you understand? That's how my life works. Right. The actress believes the devil is after her. I jump in without thought, when a moment's hesitation would save me. Like some of the other nuns might have said once upon a time, I never think more than a move ahead. Like a stubborn child, I will succumb to every whim, every fleeting desire. I read so much scripture, I lived a blessed life. I knew better, and if I could do it, if I could fall so easily without another soul in that cell, naught but stone and paper in my fingertips, what could I do if I was set loose on the wider world? Oops. For the next few weeks, I was alone again. I must admit, it stung just a bit. I really was looking forward to reading that play, despite my better judgment. I dutifully continued my work in the meantime, brushing up on scripture, transcribing scripture, and quoting the scripture to the odd visitor. I had a few inquiries, but for once, I could immediately tell they weren't who I was waiting for. I'm not sure who they were, nor did I particularly care. I just knew that they weren't her. The scratching continued. My dreams had become more and more desperate. Sometimes I broke through the wood surrounding me, but whenever I did, my mouth would fill with cloth. I would wake up choking. Yes, I mentioned transcription. That was the other half of my work. As well as being a font of wisdom, I helped spread the gospel through writing. I'd copy page after page, book after book. I even did the illumination. I must admit, that was my favorite part. I wasn't particularly good at it, but I was proud of it. Sometimes I'd imagine someone opening a book and being moved by the words, with the illumination. That gold leaf I carefully placed. Really inspiring them. Pride. Stupid. Anyway, these books would pile up in my cell until they were collected at the turn of every season by the visiting bishop. When I heard a knock on the door, I assumed it was him. Early. I've not yet finished with Matthew. This is your superior. I am not here to collect your books. Okay, I very rarely heard from the superior. She would, on rare occasions, deliver important news. I remember her visiting to tell me about a war in Spain I couldn't possibly wrap my head around. Now that I think about it, I vaguely remember her informing me that His Holiness Sixtus IV had been confirmed. Stupid. If only I'd remembered that when she was out my window. I need your help with a sensitive matter. That's why I'm here. May I come in? No, that's not allowed. I was worried it might come to this. Alright. This is the big note. Alright. One day, the Anchoress is visited by her superior, by Mother Superior, I guess. Sister Superior? I don't know. By her superior. Who wants to come... Okay. Who comes bearing news. I understand under normal circumstances that would be the case. Super nun. Da-da-da! La-na-nun! Nun! Na-na-nun! Na-na-na-na-nun! But I am the superior. Nobody can rightfully unseal the cell but the bishop who performed my rites. He won't be here for several weeks at least. I doubt very much that he'd let you in here. But even if he did, I don't think you understand the gravity of the situation. I don't think you understand. There are rites. This is a tomb. I am dead to the outside world, a vessel for purest prayer, and a woman has been murdered. All right, there it is. A woman has been murdered. Well, I guess this is very good for our main character, or I guess our narrator, because she cannot possibly be the murderer. So she's the perfect point of view. All right, and it's probably the one that was talking to her. My stomach dropped. I made the connection immediately. It couldn't have been murdered? Huh? The rest of this conversation continued through gritted teeth and hurried whispers. Murder! Under my protection in these very halls! Who killed her? A stable boy from the nearby village has been blamed. He's currently being held in the hospitalum on suspicion of the act. And will be dealt with accordingly when the time comes. Good, so why do you need my help? Why do you need to open the door? I'm happy to offer any spiritual counsel you require, but if the bishop were to arrive and I had no answer as to why his sister is dead... But you do have an answer. You just said so yourself. No. Wait, no! Mother Superior, do not... Clack. Clack. I felt helpless. I wonder if these characters will have names. From the cell. Alright. So, I guess... remains, trapped. Not trapped, imprisoned. Willingly imprisoned. In a solitary cell. Answers questions, inquiries, and copies books by hand. I felt helpless, dumbfounded. The door swung outward, and I looked upon the first human being I'd seen up close in God only knows how long. Perhaps 2 decades? Oh my god, that's... okay. A brick wall that's a human being! I had plenty of illustrations of men and women in my illuminated tomes. I'd see glimpses of hands passing through the squint. I'd occasionally noticed what I thought were people walking around the hills I could see from my window. But now there was a full person in front of me, draped in black. She looked weathered, and even though I hadn't gazed upon another face in years and years, I immediately recognized the expression she wore. A deep, knowing concern. I was too angry to care, however. You... I'm sorry. This is unacceptable! You violated a sacred right! I'll screenshot you. It brings me no pleasure to do so, believe me. But it is vitally important that you leave this cell. At this point, I'd already backed myself up against the far wall, as far away from the door as possible. Stop crying, please. And step away from the window. It was hard to speak through my own ugly sobbing. Superior gently closed the door behind her, as if that would make me feel any better. Throw the chamber pot! Any sense of comfort had gone rushing out of the threshold as soon as the seal was broken. She sat on the bed and beckoned for me to do the same. I refused. As he said, I do have an answer for the bishop whenever he arrives, but I'm not certain it's the right one. You're not. A young man was indeed found sneaking around the convent the morning the body was discovered. He had no compelling excuse as to why that would be. But something just doesn't feel right. Everyone agrees it was him. You're not making any sense. Everyone agrees it was him, so... that's just it. That's a little odd, don't you think? Every last sister here, immediately in agreement that a stable hand, a complete outsider, was responsible? A little convenient, no? The superior says that a stable hand is the current accused, but she suspects something is wrong because every single sister in the convent, or in the abbey, I guess, agreed with the accusation. He's no longer stable, he's shaky, it's true. I'm honestly not sure what you're suggesting. Why would they lie? What reason would you have not to trust them? And then she laughed. A single bitter, hollow wheeze of a laugh. Your being kept here has made you more naive than I thought. You will learn, I suppose. I very much doubt that. If you think I'm about to throw away a life's work, your sealed cell is exactly why I need your help. You are now the single person I can completely trust in this abbey. Every other sister, more or less, has had free run of the place except for you. I need you to join the congregation, to investigate my hunch that something is amiss. You're asking me to spy on people. How dare you? How dare you break into my cell and demand this of me? I won't have it. Please, can you not feel it? There is something wrong in this place. Very wrong. Deep in the walls. I tried to ignore it, tamp it down for so long. And now this. Someone's died, my child. I should have done more to protect her. I could have watched closer. I could have not given up whenever I felt that creeping dread. There is something dark at work here, and I have worked too long and too hard to let a mystery like this bury my abbey's reputation for good. This is my penance. You can help me right a grievous wrong? I don't want to send a potentially innocent young man to die. Catherine wouldn't have wanted that. Catherine. That was her name then. The woman who'd come to talk to me so many times. Catherine. It felt like it had learned the shape of the thing that had shattered, and all of a sudden I felt obligated to help put it back together. Alright. Huh? She'd been deep in thought as I chewed things over. I said, all right. I will help. Good. Good. Tomorrow you'll join the regular congregation. I'll make sure the other sisters bring you up to speed on the proceedings so you can become one of them as soon as possible. I'm sure I don't need to emphasize this, but just to be clear, you are not to let on what it is you are doing. To be obvious. I waited some time before coming here for that precise reason. But if anyone asks, you are a new chronicler. Chronicler? Yes. That was Catherine's position before, well, and you are clearly a skilled copyist. I've told the sisters that you are a perfect fit for the position, and everyone seems amenable. We won't have to spend months upon months hoping a new oblate will be qualified and want the role. And none of the others wanted to be the new chronicler. No, they did not. She stood up and strode through the door, keys in hand. Tomorrow, then, I'll send Catherine to escort you in the morning to the morning service. Catherine with a K? You've got a Catherine with a C and a Catherine with a K? Alright, let's list characters. Characters. Anchoress. The ex-Anchoress. POV character. Superior. Head of the Abbey. Trust the Anchoress. Because she is the only person who could not possibly have done it. Catherine with a C. Chronicler. Murder victim. Chronicler. And the visitor. Visitor to the Anchoress. Catherine with a K. Who are you? What? A small flicker of realization played over her face, and she offered a weak smile. With a K. The Catherine we lost was with a C. She stood on the threshold, her apologetic smile wavering. Well, tomorrow. All I could do was cry. I'd been locked in there for my whole life, and now I was being told to leave my legacy behind. I'd been comfortable here, happy with humble servitude. Dead to the world, but never to myself, peacefully unaware of anything outside the walls of my cell. I had no need to care about trivial, fleeting matters. My life was God's. I was angry at the Superior for breaking down the barrier and tainting my meticulously organized little world. But I was angry at whoever had taken those conversations from me. Whoever had taken that play from me. So that's what I chose to focus on. How I chose to interpret events. Stupid. Interpretation was never how I was taught to process scripture. But I ignored the fact that the Superior, was the one who had stepped through the door in lieu of the desire to seek some nebulous form of justice. I took my evening meal from the squint without a word. My head felt like it had been filled with smoke. My eyes watered at the sensation, and I became more aware of my palms than I'd ever been before. I couldn't keep from swiping them against my thigh incessantly, fidgeting before each page turn, as I struggled to find some piece of comfort in one of my books. I couldn't find one. Pathetic, wasn't I? 20-some-odd years spent reading scripture to the point where I could feasibly recite it without even glancing at the page. But nothing leapt out at me as I flipped through the tomes. Words barely registered as words. Many people hold a passage or particular psalm to heart. I myself did not. I'd been so immersed in the Bible for so long it was difficult to single out any one piece of text that truly spoke to me at this moment. Usually I would chalk this up to the essence of my position. I had no need for a favorite passage when my life was devoted to all passages. I'd simply never held any one piece of wisdom in higher esteem than any other. A holistic way to think about the book, until I found myself in need. I tried searching for meaning in the text I'd been copying before the Superior barged in, but the letters might as well have been Greek. I felt sick to my stomach and racked with worries, guilt, and rage. I didn't want to feel anymore, so I tore off my clothes and rolled onto my straw mattress and just closed my eyes as tight as I could. Alright, story's begun. Let's freaking go. Prologue over, perhaps. I woke up grasping for air through sloshing liquid. Instinctively rolling onto my side, I splattered dark bile and a streak across the mattress and onto the floor. I could feel more coming, and scrambled to my hands and knees, launching myself out of bed like a wild dog. I tried standing, but couldn't. We got the amen break in here? What is going on? I heaved more of the vile liquid onto the stone floor with a horrible gurgle. Weakly, I pulled myself up using the... I guess it makes sense that the amen break is in here, actually, given the name. That served the writing desk across from the bed, but not before retching again. Streaks of bile flew across the copy of math he had been transcribing, but still open on the reading desk. I groaned and launched myself from the chair toward the window, hoping to be able to get the rest of the foul substance I could still feel bubbling in my throat outside. Skip these nasty details. No, I don't think so. It's been years listening to everything others had to say, and I must admit, I'm very much enjoying having someone listen to me. You'll permit me this relatively small indulgence. Besides, I lived it, and you're just hearing the story. I'm sure you can manage. She's become a troll. I flung open the wooden window cover just in time to heave the last of the toxic bile onto the desk. I leaned my head out for a few moments. I could hear the faint splash of the stuff as it hit the grass below. I panted for a bit, attempting to regain my composure. Eventually, I was able to stop wheezing and breathe somewhat normally. You're familiar with the concept of humors, yes? Yeah, you got your black bile, you got your yellow bile, you've got your collar? Is it collar? And you've got your blood. Blood was one of them. The four elements reside in our bodies, manifested as various fluids. Oh, don't be so incredulous. I learned a bit about the world before I took the oath to be an anchoress. Fun fact, the word melancholy literally comes from black bile. Melon as in black, and colly as in collar, C-H-O-L-E-R. And it said that's why it's called that. It is the emotion associated with black bile. The four humors are elements that make up our earthly selves. The balance is very delicate, as I understand. So delicate that practically nobody is perfectly balanced. Blood is one of the humors, and determines our sanguinity. Yellow bile is a little nasty. People with a lot of yellow in the system are short-tempered, aggressive. Some would say confident, but I'd say a little cruel. There's phlegm. Okay, phlegm was the other one, alright. It naturally generates in old age, but many younger people have an excess of it as well. You can tell because the wise, calm, and, reserved. I wouldn't mind having an excess of phlegm, honestly. I have an excess of phlegm. Ugh. As funny as the word is to say. Sadly, I'm full of black bile instead. Does that surprise you? That is where the word phlegmatic comes from. I'm joking. Of course, it wouldn't surprise you. Black bile determines how melancholic you are. That night, after a whirlwind of horrible news and negative thoughts, I was simply overloaded with black bile. My poor little body couldn't handle it, and it had to expel some. I suppose I've always had quite a bit of black bile now that I think of it. My hair is black, which is a common sign that someone is full of the stuff. Really? Having black hair is a sign that you're full of black bile? What does that say about everyone in fucking Asia? And Africa? And I guess North America, but they haven't found North and South in the Americas, but I guess I haven't found them yet. Bad news and poisoning. Everyone with black hair is evil? All of that black... No, everyone is sad. Makes them sad. Black bottle makes you sad. I'd never felt particularly melancholic until that night, however. Being shut away from the worldly influences had spared me from ever allowing my humoric balances to color my emotions. There was no going back after that, sadly. Anyway, shakily I managed to stand up straight again. I hobbled back over to the bed and rummaged around underneath it to find the brush I'd been given long ago, to clean up the occasional ink spill or dropped supper plate. Along with a small pail I had for washing, I would have to make do for scrubbing up the horrid mess I made. The cell had its own faucet, mercifully, which dribbled lukewarm water into the bucket I had held with trembling hands. Why was it lukewarm? Why is the water just lukewarm? Like, not cold? Why is the water not cold? Huh? I guess it's summer. But where's the water coming from? That it's just not like... Like, if it's coming from a well, it wouldn't be hot. If it's coming from... Again, it would have to be coming from, like, a small reservoir. But then who's filling the reservoir? I guess maybe the rain? Possibly? Because if it's coming from, like, a lake, it's not like the water is going to be... Like, the lake will have warmed up to lukewarm temperatures, right? It would still be fairly cool. It took longer than I had hoped to erase any trace of bile from the flagstone. Gutter fed sistered, oh god. By the time I finished, my knees and back ached. I should have at least rolled up my habit to provide some cushion for my knees, but I wasn't thinking straight. I was in so much dull pain by the time I stood up that I noticed the dirtied book sitting on the writing desk was just not something I could handle. I'm not proud to admit that I practically tore the damn thing from its plinth and stomped over to the window, still nude as anything, to hurl it into the night sky. I must have looked like some crazed Olympian discus thrower. I regretted it instantly. Not only was it a childish thing to do, but I swear I saw someone looking up at me. Uh-oh. I scurried away from the window as fast as I could, flung myself onto the bed, with my face buried in my pillow. I scrunched my eyes closed. I could feel what felt like a spike being driven through my head, and I was painfully aware of every bone in my body. I ached, I wailed, I despaired, and then finally, sleep. I think the accent I gave her changed. Whoops. The next morning, I woke up feeling worse than if I hadn't slept at all. My aches have subsided somewhat, but the pain that had inflicted my head had merely reduced to a low-level buzz that made every thought take twice as long to finish. One of England's many vowel shifts. It's the not-so-great vowel shift happening today. I meekly stood out of bed and attempted to wash myself with water from the bucket, although I had wasted most of it scrubbing up the bile from the previous night. I went to toss the excess out the window so I could ask for it to be refilled later. Didn't you say you had a faucet? I could still see my copy of Matthew on the ground beneath the window. An embarrassing reminder of last night's behavior. Halfway through tossing the water out, I remembered the horrible apparition I'd seen outside the night before. That woke me up. Did I get it? I don't know. I turned away from the window as quickly as I had the night before. Even though there was nothing to see out there in the light of day, I simply didn't want to think about it anymore. Nervously, I slipped on my habit, clipped on my wimple, put on my cowl. The superior had told me that somebody, Catherine, would come to collect me before the morning service. Morning service. Ah! I'd forgotten matins! What? Matins? What is matins? Alright. That night, the anchoress, wakes up and begins vomiting a lot. It begins vomiting everywhere, including onto the manuscript that she is copying in a childish fit, in a fit of childish. Let's just call it childish. She called it childishness. Immaturity. Childishness. She tosses the manuscript out the window and catches sight of an apparition of something outside that resembles that she believes dark figure. Extra points for the projectile. Are you decent in there? Yes. Good. Just a moment. God, which key was it? Oh, well, look at you. You look smug as heck, girl. Alright. She immediately reached out and yanked on my cowl, adjusting it to suit her liking. You look awful. I so do. Suppose you would have my head. I look up at her, bewildered. Sorry, poor taste. She licked her thumb before pressing it against my forehead and tucking an unruly cowlick under my wimple. I bristled instinctively and pulled away. I was not particularly pleased that my first physical contact in over 20 years is... Yes. I mean, you could have had different physical contact if you had, sat next to Mother Superior. Woman rubbing a wet digit across my temple. Hey! I'm just trying to make you presentable. For heaven's sake, I was busy all night and still managed to look my best today. She grabbed my cheeks and peered into my eyes, looking simultaneously deep in thought and maddeningly aloof. After hemming and hawing for a moment, she licked another finger and tucked in the rest of the hair sticking out from my wimple quite rudely. Then, after squeezing and stretching my cheek a little, she gave them a light frosty slap. It's so stupid. Catherine just pinching her cheeks and going There we go. You're looking good now. Apparently satisfied, she clapped me on the shoulders and sat down and patted down my robe to straighten it. That'll have to do. We're going to have to work on your face, though. It's absolutely colorless. She's not had any sunlight for a while. She has no tan at all. You hit me! Gets the blood flowing, my dear? I knew you were going to be a mess, but I wasn't expecting things to be that bad. Alright. Let's make a note of that. Catherine. Instagram none. I knew you were going to be a mess, but I wasn't expecting you to be a mess. This was bewildering. Our main character has been so out of the loop she doesn't know what Vine is. Come on, girl. Don't you know about Vine? They crawl up on the walls. Catherine, right? The one and only. And your name is? Hedwig. Alright, we got a name. Ex-Anchoress. We need to play Hedwig's theme. We need to play Hedwig and the Angry Inches theme. Adorable. Now let's get along. The last thing I need is a talking to from the Superior. She took a moment to admire her handiwork, eyeing me up and down. Huh. And with that, she turned her on her heel and began to stride down the hallway. I couldn't follow her. I'd never left this cell. I stood upon the threshold. I felt as though I were walking back and forth on the deck of a ship. Closed my eyes for a moment, perhaps hoping that I'd open them and be back where I was just a few weeks ago. 10,000 or 10. Whoa. That's 10 million nun slaps. And you won! How do you have that many credits? Are you coming? I savored a few precious last seconds. Yes. I'm ready now. Off we go then. Misericorde! Alright, we are in full visual novel mode now. Let's go. Dating sim mode? I've never seen the whole way outside my cell before. It was quite long, and Catherine was walking briskly toward the end. We've a way to go yet, I'm afraid. Right here, if you'd please. We passed a set of windows with a little statue of the Madonna and Child nestled between them. We took another turn after that, into a hall equally as long as the one my cell was located in. I caught the briefest glimpse of the cloister out of the window. You know, you're right, she would be very tired, given that she's literally been trapped in a single room this whole time. What is walking, even? Up ahead of the dorms, where the rest of us live. And the Misericorde on the right, just before those. And then the door next to that is the library. Left of the stairs, just before the dorms, there's a good girl. Everyone keeps calling her a good girl. And... oh, my god. I puffed up a little. I know how to use stairs, thank you very much. And stop cursing, that's thrice now I've counted. Go on then, after you. Very sassy nuns we have here. I gingerly put one foot on the first step down. Very good. See? One more. I began to descend the staircase, very slowly. I instinctively held my hands out for balance, till I felt Catherine firmly gripping them and planting them to my sides. You just walk down them normally. Frankly, I don't walk downstairs normally either. I'm too paranoid I'll fall. No! This really is precious. I'll race you to the bottom! But she had already casually strolled down to the landing. She pointed to the staircase that descended the other way as I wobbled my way down to her. There's more this way, just so you know. You're being perfectly horrible. Aren't I just? You jump down a flight at a time, nice. All 8 steps per flight. Is that the average? Is it 8 steps? Aren't I just? Hurry up, you've got places to go and people to meet. No, it's more than 8. It's definitely more like 10 or 13 or something. We came to a foyer with a door leading out onto the cloister. The sunlight creeping in was simultaneously daunting and enticing. It's a good thing we don't get much heat here. Your skin looks like it might cook in the sun. She ushered me through the door, not allowing me the same moment I had taken, leaving the threshold of my cell. The cloister was a rectangle of grass, surrounded by stone arches. Passages ran around the grass, each leading to a part of the convent I hadn't been to yet. The sun glinted off what appeared to be a metal crucifix in the middle of the lawn. Although, do you happen to know if the abbey was built according to St. Gall's plan? Huh? I'm just curious about how this place is laid out. What, pray tell, is St. Gall's plan? You know, the standard layout for abbeys. I thought all Benedictine monasteries followed it. They might. I wouldn't know. And well, I thought that door would be taking us out into the east, but we're facing south? How on earth do you know that? Have you got a compass hidden somewhere in your frock? Do I? No, it's easy. The sun rises in the east, so that's over there. Pointed left where I could see the sun's rays creeping over the walls of the cloister. I wasn't aware you'd ever seen the sun rise. So ahead of us from this door would be south. Normally the chapel would be the northern half of the monastery. Rather the tower would face north, and the oblates would live in the southwest. Goodness, you must have had some very interesting books to read in that cell of yours. Of course. This abbey could just have been built around a Roman plan. That would follow, considering we're Catholics. I ignored this. Fascinating. I'm sure it is to someone. Catherine looked at me, clearly amused by my interest in the layout of a building. I felt a as though I'd been made a fool of myself despite correctly observing something. God, girl. This was a first. Oh no. She's a nerd. She doesn't know it. She's a nerd and she doesn't know it. All the jocks are gonna bully her. The cheerleaders are gonna bully her. I didn't have much of a chance to feel sorry for myself before I was scared witless by a voice right behind me. As far as I know, the building was supposed to follow the plan of St. Gall, but the builders got a little turned around in a storm. I could have jumped all the way out of my habit then and there. I wheeled around with a yelp. Alright, who is this? Sorry, didn't mean to startle you. I'm Sister Margaret. Alright, so we've got Margaret. Definitely not an Instagram nun. I take it you're the Angress everyone's been whispering about. That's her. Yes, my name's Hedwig. Well, not anymore. I mean, my name is still Hedwig, but I'm not an Angress anymore. Obviously. Isn't she precious? Nice to meet you. Word of advice. You can still go back to your cell. You can tell the soup you aren't feeling with the soup. That's what they call the superior, the soup. You tell the soup you aren't feeling well. How did she... No, I feel fine. Why would I... Margaret turned her gaze to Catherine, as if to deliver some long-anticipated bad news. She's fixed the portative. Has she now? Alright, let's just take notes. The next morning. Alright, so this isn't the plot so far. Okay, yeah, this is the plot so far, okay. And this is just random notes. Random notes. She's fixed the portative. Who is she? What's a portative? This is Margaret to Catherine. How's she now? Good, maybe I'll tell her I'm sick today. Stop cursing! And, what's a portative? Margaret made a wiggling gesture with her fingers. A little organ. Alright, so Catherine... That was Catherine who said that, right? No, that was Margaret. Alright. Which means I'll be singing. More to the point, it means the superior will be singing. I should quite like to hear some liturgical songs, actually. They're not going to be singing liturgical songs, they're going to be doing some karaoke. Liturgical, that's a word for it. Right down the finger wiggle, too. Who wiggled the fingers? Was it Margaret or Catherine? It was Margaret. No, it wasn't Catherine, though. So it was Margaret being serious. She was just miming it. It'll certainly make you think about God. Oh, maybe the superior is just bad at singing. It'll make you pray for him to smite the damned organ, that's certain. Is that what you're going with? I didn't think we decided. We'll get our story straight later then. Alright. Her words belied a mischievous sense of humor that I would never have expected given her stoic expression. Alright, so, these two are definitely partners in crime. Catherine and Margaret seemed, be friendly with each other. The superior has managed to fix the portative, and they're already planning to break it again, so that they don't have to listen to her. Let's... What should we do? Should I make separate... No, let's just keep it all here for now. Just as soon as I thought this, however, little smiles crept across her face. Pleasant meeting you. She glided away just as silently as she had arrived. Well, hurry up. If you meet any more sisters on the way, we'll never get there. Continue along the path, around the cloister toward the chapel. Two women were huddled close to each other outside the large wooden door, speaking in hushed tones. No, wait. Catherine leaned down to whisper in my ear. The mousy one is Eustace. Alright, so we've got Eustace. Isn't Eustace a male name? He's quite smart and a bit bossy. According to Catherine. You two should get along swimmingly. The other is Darcy, who... Darcy? Well, Darcy's very special. Darcy, are you sure you're going to be able to sit through service without doing... anything? You keep giggling, it's very distracting. Probably because of all the stuff I drank before I came here. She's speaking in no caps. That much I gathered. Why would you drink anything you've cooked up before service? Thought it might be funny. It might be a little funny. That's right. The pair noticed Catherine and I walking past. I'm trying to decide how I should do notes. Alright. Let's do it this way. Catherine picks up Hedwig from the area, whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. It immediately sets to attempting to fix her appearance. Margaret tells Catherine, let's see. I guess I'm just trying to get the broad strokes of anything that came up so that we know if any of this becomes important later. Let's fix her porta-wobe. Jokingly? Plan to unfix it. What else is there? So now we have Eustace and Darcy have a conversation in the hall. Darcy has just consumed something she made that has caused her to speak in all lowercase letters. The pair noticed Catherine and I walking past. Darcy gave me a strange little wave where she wiggled each finger individually. Eustace, though. She gave me a strange look that I couldn't quite place, but I didn't appreciate. Was I just fresh out of my cell and unable to comprehend any expressions subtler than Catherine's? Or did Eustace seem to dislike me intensely? Alright, spots Eustace, spots Hedwig, and seems to immediately... and seems to have an immediate dislike. Immediate and intense dislike for her. I'd plowed directly into someone walking past Eustace and Darcy, and by attempt to keep myself right, I grabbed a handful of cloak. I tumbled to the floor, nearly dragging the mystery person with me. Thank God I let go on the way down. I looked up at the woman who I'd collided with, and I realized something. This is what intense dislike looked like. I'm terribly sorry. Angela. Alright, so we've got an Angela. Distracted by Useless's look, Hedwig tumbles into... Right, bring us. Tumbles... plows into... Angela, and falls to the floor. To the floor. I see you've met a new oblate. Catherine shot me a little smirk as I pulled myself off the ground. This is Sister Hedwig. She's still finding her footing, as you can see. I'm really very, very sorry. Angela said nothing to me. She simply looked me up and down quickly before turning to Catherine. Your door is still broken. How is it now? You told me you'd see to getting it fixed 2 weeks ago. Catherine, that her door is still... wait. Angela comments that Catherine's door is still broken, despite that Catherine had promised to get it fixed 2 weeks ago. Yes, well, I'm a busy woman, Angela. Not too busy to spend most of your evenings in the Misericorde, I've noticed. Angela says that Catherine spends most of her evenings in the Misericorde. Catherine took a step closer to Angela. She was barely 1 inch taller, but she was making quite the effort to make it seem like there were 10 between them. Cat maintains an open door policy. Find anything else interesting in my room, Angie? Or are you just testing the door? Just the same. Musk as always. Oh, Catherine implies Angela has been snooping. But Angela demurs. Is that the right word? Demurs? What does demur mean? What I think it means? The musk that she smelled. The usual. I didn't even have to check inside. It wafted out of the door on its own when I tested the hinges. So diligent. And here I was thinking Darcy's experiments might be more odorous than anything I might hide. Darcy's experiments aren't alive. What are they talking about? First I thought it was a sex thing, but now I'm not so sure. She idly watched Eustace and Darcy walking past her into the chapel, along with Margaret and several other people I didn't recognize yet. As always, my dear sweet Angela, I have no idea what you're talking about. Maybe Catherine's keeping a secret pet. Alright, so from what we can tell, Angela and Catherine kinda don't seem to get along much. Got a whole muskox in there. Maybe it's a muskrat. I'm sure. She shot me another icy look before turning on her heel to head into the chapel. Time for service. Catherine made a high-pitched little noise that sounded like a mocking sneeze. Angela froze for a moment, but did not turn around before continuing into the hall. Why a sneeze? Why would a sneeze be a thing? Oh. Angela's convinced I'm keeping a cat in my room. Oh, so Angela has like an allergy. Maybe. After Angela leaves, Catherine reveals that Angela thinks Catherine is keeping a cat. She's been bothering me about it for months. Are you? Of course not. They're filthy little things. Guess she is. I guess she's doing something else then. Oh, we got whispers. Whispers in my skin. Wait. Inside the chapel, everyone was already sitting in pews. All except the superior, who I could make out standing at the altar near the back. She did indeed have a small device in front of her I'd never seen before. Given the apprehensive looks on the sisters' faces, I could guess that it was the dreaded portative organ. She noticed me walking in with Catherine and gave me an appreciative little curl of the lip, just barely legible from far away. Glad our main character here doesn't need glasses, I guess. When she spoke, her voice echoed around the chapel, made me jump. Ah, greetings, Sister Hedwig. I would like everyone to give her a warm welcome. A murmur of dullest enthusiasm rumbled through the chapel. I gave a little bow of the head, unsure of how to properly respond. Thank you. Come up here, if you'd please. I'd like to introduce you properly. She glared at the gathered nuns, to the congregation. Should have some chapel-level reverb on that. Nah. I gingerly stepped forward and walked up to the altar. Every footstep echoed around the large room. I could feel everyone's stares boring into my back. When I reached the superior, she gave me an encouraging smile. Look at these faces. Alright, I don't know who you are. Is this her? So there's Margaret. This is Eustace and Darcy. Who are you? I've got a nun with an eye patch. Which one's Angela? Is this Angela? I don't know. I don't even remember what's her name looks like anymore. Hey, Cindy, how's it going? Yeah, this is Misericorde. It's like it's just a visual novel so far. So I haven't even had to make any decisions, but it's about a bunch of nuns, I guess, and there's a murder mystery. Our character is like the only nun that was in a place where she isn't, she could not have been the culprit. So that's why she's getting roped into, being the detective, I guess. I turned around to face my adoring public, so I don't remember what Catherine looks like. Goes well, nun murder mystery sounds fun, yeah. Who mostly looked like they wouldn't mind if I were to drop dead in front of them. I'll say for Darcy. Well, Darcy is high as fuck, so... Anyway. I'll say for Darcy anyway, who was looking straight past me with a serene expression. Hello. There was a collective grunt. It felt like one older woman with an eye patch sitting near the back was watching me with particular interest. She was smiling, but she said nothing. There was an awkward pause. Hello? I'm pretty sure I already have the screenshot, but it's fine. Shh. Oh wait, it was that was Darcy. Well, let me try that again. Hello? Shh. Oh, sorry. Darcy stuck a hand out and started waving silently, before Eustace grabbed it and tucked it back down at her side. The superior gave me a little nudge. Well, it's lovely to meet everyone. Or rather, the people I've met so far. Catherine, Margaret, Angela... And I walked past Darcy and Eustace, so you didn't really meet, but you seem very nice. Not that Catherine and Margaret aren't nice. I also don't mean... I don't mean the rest of you would be lovely to meet. Our main character is very... God, she's a disaster. She's like... Oh... She's basically a shut-in. She was basically a shut-in. And now she's being forced to interact with people. Well, I can. If you want to. I suppose I'm meeting you all right now. But... Personally, you know. Almost as poorly socialized as me. Got that right. This is not me reading yours. This is me saying it for myself. Oh goodness, that sounds strange. At this point, I wouldn't have minded chopping dead in front of everyone either. But I couldn't stop there. Well, I suppose the best way to get to know people is through prayer. Not that I've ever prayed with anyone. But that's what I've read. Wherever two or more are gathered, and so on. Prayed alone many times, though. Really, I suppose I've never actually been alone. Because I was here. And there were so many of you here all along, and you've all been praying as well. So, a lot more than two who are gathered here. God, she's making it so awkward. Not just in the chapel, I mean, but in the abbey, generally. Oh, and you've all probably spoken with me before, maybe not all. Maybe just some. I may have offered all of you spiritual advice through the Hagioscope before. Not that I can tell who's on the other side of that. By the way, your deepest questions have always been safe with me. So I'll never be able to tell anyone anything embarrassing. Not to imply that anyone has asked me anything embarrassing. Girl, you're just digging a hole! Stop this! Oh my god. I hope my advice has helped all of you. Or however many of you I offered it to. And if you were ever wondering who it was giving it to you, it was me. Here I am. I, for some reason that eludes me to this day, felt it might be best to end with a little flourish. Oh my god, did she do jazz hands? She did jazz hands? It was me. Oh my god. Hannah! New chronicler. Oh my god, girl, please. This music that's playing, this is just making it even funnier. Silence. Dreadful, dreadful silence. Finally, Darcy raised her hand. Yes? What's a hagioscope? It's a funny little window next to her door. You're supposed to talk through it. Alright. The cringe is strong in this one, it's true. I bared my teeth in as wide a smile as I could manage to the rest of the sisters. But no response at all. Save for another wave from Darcy and a smirk from Catherine. This is probably Catherine, right? I can't really tell. I don't remember what her face looks like. But she's sitting next to Margaret, and she's got, like, a non-neutral expression. She's just kind of got a smug expression. So I think this is Catherine. Did Angela have that tuft of hair sticking out? I don't know. I looked up at the superior for some sort of guidance, any help at all. She just smiled at me and pushed me back gently, urging me to head back to the pews. God. Hedwig's situation is rather unique, so we all have a responsibility to look out for her and offer her help with the day-to-day around the convent. I want everyone to be extra helpful and forgiving towards her, and I want no sort of hazing or pranking. By the by, Sister Flora, I will be speaking with you after Prime concludes today. Whatever. Flora is a teenager. Flora, whatever. Uptight, maybe? Suspects Catherine is hiding a cat. Like, whatever. Flora was the young woman with the pimply face then. No, what? Okay. Pimply. No one to cause a fuss. I walked past the last occupied pew to sit in an empty row in the back, on the opposite side of the aisle to everyone else. Now the creed, if you please. The Assassin's Creed? Let's see, what was the creed? The Nicene Creed? How's this go again? I forget how this goes. I believe in God the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth, of all that is seen and unseen. Something like that? I think that's how it goes. And then we'll continue with the usual psalmody before concluding with a hymn. And yes, that means singing. And yes, that means all of you, including Catherine I. Catherine I? Or is it Catherine the First? There was an awkward pause before everyone lurched into the Athanasian Creed. Oh, Athanasian. It's not even the Nicene Creed. At the superior's urging. Quicumque vult salvus... Oh, wait. Yeah. Quicumque vult salvus esse ante omnia opus est, et teneat catholicam fidem. I guess everyone's reading it, right? Quam nisi quisque integram involentemque servaverit absque dubio in aeternum peribit. Fides autem catholica haec est, ut unum Deum in Trinitate et Trinitatem in unitate veneremur. Neque confundentes personas neque substantiam separantes. That's the whole prayer. Autolite portas principes vestra et elvamini. Portae eternales et introibit rex gloriae. Something. Glorious King, eternal. Portae. Portae carry? No. Oh, we got the Amen break again. Praying to the Amen break. Let's go. I vomited black bile over the flagstone floor. Oh, okay. So that's the theme of vomit. That's the vomit theme. The black bile theme. Okay, so at the church, Hedwig very, 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 very awkwardly introduces herself and ends with a flourish. After they sit down to pray, Hedwig begins to throw up, vomit some more. They need a vomitorium in here. Hello? Hello? Moira. We've got a new character. Moira! Can you hear me? My name's Moira. This is an impolite matter of introduction, but Say something if you can hear me. I don't know what accent that was. I opened my eyes and groaned. I was lying on the floor between the pews, surrounded by a semicircle of concerned sisters. Alright, so she was the one in the front. That's Moira. The woman who'd been sitting near the front of the pews was crouched next to me. Her hand was resting on my shoulder to prop me upright slightly. Sorry. Her grim expression melted away as I began to speak. Don't dare apologize. You had us worried half to death there. You spoke in a lilting accent I couldn't quite place. Well, it's good I gave her a weird accent then. The superior pushed through the throng of nuns at the moment, prompting the friendly woman to pop back up to a standing height with a little bounce. She's going to be just fine. I think she's just a tad enervated. All of this might have been a bit much for her humors, I'm afraid. I see. I did warn her that jumping into things straight away might be too much. Has a lilting accent. I opened my mouth to object to this out-and-out lie, but Superior gave me a piercing look. My silence assured, she turned to the friendly-faced woman, Moira. I'd like to take her to the dormitory to rest up for a little while in the room that's been prepared for her. If she's feeling up to it, she can rejoin us for luncheon later. Of course. She leaned down to offer a hand to me, which I took. I staggered back to my feet, hiding my gaze from the crowd. You're not hiding your gaze very well, are you? What a disaster this has been so far. I took a deep breath and caught just a hint of the foul stench of bile. My baffling speech, falling asleep during the service, and throwing up in front of everyone. She fell asleep during service. She's just like me, for real. Even though these were people I was meant to suspect, I felt as though I'd been humiliated in front of powerful royalty. Surely there'd be no climbing back from this. Margaret. So, yes, well, I suppose that means the Officer Prime is concluded. There was an approving murmur from everyone. Amen. The murmur morphed into a half-hearted amen. Oh, bitrate is dying, for sure. As everyone began to shuffle outside, Moira kindly offered me her shoulder for balance. You'd better join us for lunch. You barely weigh a thing. It had started to rain over the course of service. Alright. Superior asks Moira to take Hedwig to the dorms to rest. But hopes Hedwig will join for the luncheon. For Lunchables. Thank you, Sister Inch, for saving us from the portative. I could see Margaret and Catherine huddled together, talking somewhat conspiratorially. Margaret noticed me and raised her eyebrows, prompting Catherine to turn to face me. Okay, yeah, so Catherine has the mole and the bushy eyebrows. Do you feel better soon, dear? It's been a pleasure so far. And no hymns. Amen is right, huh? Ah, Sister Margaret. Since we've let out a little early, surely you wouldn't mind cleaning up our newcomers' mess. I believe there's a mop and bucket in the workshop. Yes, Sue. And Catherine? I'm sure Margaret would appreciate some help. Yes, of course. Moira tugged on my sleeve gently. Come on then. Let's get you some rest. We walked back through the cloister and through the doorway where I'd made a fool of myself in front of Catherine. Everyone always says the monastic life is so simple. But I can imagine it being quite a shock coming from where you're used to. Yes, I suppose so. She squeezed my arm gently. Everyone also says first impressions are everything. But I have a good feeling you'll nail your second one, eh? All I could do was groan. I liked your little speech, though. It's not often we get newcomers. Adela was the last one before you, and that was nearly half a year ago. Or nearly a year ago, if I remember right. Adela. Latest newcomer, previous newcomer. A year ago. Tells Catherine and Margaret to clean up the mess. Not X, S. Adela? Oh goodness, how silly of me. And we just established you haven't had a chance to meet everyone yet, poor thing. Lots in my mind. I was hoping to introduce myself to everyone properly after Prime, but... Well, you'll get rested up so you can catch with everyone later, eh? I didn't have the energy to tell her that I'd been about to say. Now I'd rather crawl into a hole and disappear after, but... Okay, let me reread that because I did not absorb what she said at all. I didn't have the energy to tell her that I'd been about to say, now I'd rather crawl into a hole and disappear after but. Alright. It's not like they're going anywhere, it's true. They're not, they're totally gonna go clean stuff. I didn't know whether it was because I'd fully grasped it the first go around, or if my current state was so weak generally that Moira wouldn't have noticed. But I made it up the stairs this direction without comment. I mean, going up is easier than going down, in terms of balance. Here we are. This is where all of us sleep. Minus the superior, of course. We? Uh-huh. I made the room up for you already. She swung open one of the wooden doors. A small, meticulously cleaned dorm room awaited. It had a similar straw mattress on one side, a little window, and an empty bookshelf next to a little reading desk. It was much smaller than the cell I'd spent my life in. You'd probably fit 2 people in here comfortably for a chat. 3 if one didn't mind sitting on the bed. Well, I suppose you're probably familiar with all of that. It's not much, but mostly we just sleep in these. Tugging my arm again, she led me over to the mattress and urged me to sit. You're a mite pallid still. A nap before church should do you some good. What about Terce? Or Sixt? Oh, I slept through mountains last night. Now don't you worry yourself about something silly as the hours. You're not used to moving and tucking and, well, living so much. You need some rest. Hiya. Oh, for Pete's sake, don't be silly. I'm sure he would understand. I didn't have the energy to argue, but I knew all too well that God does not look kindly to those who would take advantage of his kindness. Prayer is a privilege after all. Do you have a fresh frock, by the way? I'll go and get it from your cell if you'd like. No, actually, just the one. Someone would come and collect it to be washed every few days. Never mind then. Give it to me and I'll have it washed. You can turn around if you'd like. Nothing I haven't seen before, though. She made a show of spinning around before I could argue, but I eventually undid my habit, slipping out of it and collecting it together in a rumply little pile. I crawled onto the bed, naked apart from my coif, which I left affixed to keep my head warm. All yours, I suppose. Ha! I'll have a bath drawn for you as well. You really don't have to. You're not my chambermaid. She shrugged my forehead before bending down to scoop up my clothes. I flinched at the sensation. While it was a friendlier gesture than Catherine's somersault, it was no less alien. Nonsense. That's what we're meant to do around here. For each other, and for any visitors in need of aid. Thank you. She was right, of course. In my delirium, I'd forgotten the worldly purpose of monasticism. There you go. Monasticism. I'd been shut to myself for so long, I'd so focused on myself, I completely ignored what it was the Abbey was here for the first place. Don't mention it. Do you have many travelers here? People in need? I must admit, I don't actually know quite where we are exactly. She sat down at the edge of the bed. Not many. We're quite isolated out here. Out here? Of course, this village is quite a trick, I'm afraid. We get visitors occasionally, and supplies get sent to us fairly regularly. Does she not remember? I guess it's been 20 years, but does she just, like, not remember where this place is at all? Or did they send her here in a box? Was she, like, was she in a crate when she got here and they unpacked her inside the room? Like, what's going on here? We know that she first went in that room 20 years ago. What? So she's probably was probably at least 10 when that happened. I don't know how young girls are before they're sent to, like, fucking an abbey though. They're usually older though, right? Like they have to be at least old enough that they wouldn't have been married off, or that they could not be married off or something, probably. The closest village is quite a trek, I'm afraid. We get visitors occasionally, and supplies get sent to us fairly regularly. But we do have to be a little self-sufficient. Where are we exactly? The nearest village is called Linborough. Okay, I lost that. I lost Moira's accent, the accent I was using. But we're on top of a hill, quite a way away from there. Linborough. Oh, have you heard of it? Alright. You know, the fun part about this is that this whole time they're chatting like this, and Hedwig is just naked. They're chatting about, like, where they are, and it's like she's just sitting on her bed naked. Alright, so Hedwig, let's see, Moira and Hedwig talk a little in the dorm room, in the dormitory. Moira says the nearest town is, what's it called? Linborough. About, which is quite a trek away. So the convent must remain fairly self-sufficient. Have you heard of it? It's rather a bit of a hamlet, so I wouldn't be shocked if you hadn't. I have to confess I don't know many English place names at all besides, well, London. Edinburgh, though, it sounds nice, certainly rolls off the tongue. Hehe, it didn't always. I heard the folk whittled it down from Lindisborough. Accents are funny like that. Have you ever been to London? Never. The superior came and brought me news about London a few times, that's all. Clerical things, church business I never really understood. I see. How strange it must be to be you right now. No need to tell me twice. Sorry. I promise not to gawk any longer. No, it's alright, I wasn't offended. You're right. It is very strange to live one way until one day you're suddenly forced to start living what feels like the absolute opposite way. Yes. Huh? I'm just very taken with the idea that the way I live is opposite of the way you'd... I'm just very taken with the idea the way I live is opposite the way you've lived until today. Until today? That's very interesting. I don't know what accent I was doing there anymore. It's my turn to apologize then. Not at all. It's a perspective I'd never considered. I suppose that to the rest of the world, us nuns must seem very secluded and rigid. I've certainly felt that way sometimes. But you've lived all by yourself in that little room all these years. With even stricter rules, I'd imagine. Very strict. Which is how I describe monastic life generally. But there was someone living here. There was someone living very differently, right under my nose. She paused for a moment. I noticed a tear rolling down her cheek. Moira? It's just... This was her room. Catherine. She nodded, sniffling. It's been so hard. It seemed like everything was normal at Prime, but I promise you things have been very difficult with her gone. Sometimes... I choked on my own fucking spit. Alright, gotta pour myself some more water. Alright, I might as well take the note here. Secret stashes to find, right? Secrets in the room. Hedwig's current room. Previously belonged to Catherine with a C. And Moira feels is feeling some type of way about the whole situation. Sad. She's feeling sad. Sometimes it feels like most of them are trying to act like she never existed. I suppose I can't blame them, but it feels so wrong. She could have been there today, a day like any other. She would have really liked you, I think. And not that... You wouldn't even be here if not for that, would you? Didn't know what to say. Oh, listen to me rambling. It's not your fault. What was she like? She was very intelligent. Intimidatingly so. And she wasn't afraid to show that off to people. Yes. Oh no, I'm just imagining. I can picture her, almost. She left a strong impression on everyone she met. Myself included. She was good at everything she tried. I think that upset some people, honestly. She was a prodigy through and through. More than just the chronicler? Oh, more than just the chronicler? Well, the nice thing about history is that it happens rather slowly. She had plenty of time for other pursuits, especially with how things are around here. I don't see why that would have upset anyone. I wouldn't dare say for certain that she upset any of the others specifically. It's just a sense I've gotten in retrospect, perhaps. I nodded. Precious as I held them, my conversations with Catherine through the hagioscope had a certain friction that I could imagine being amplified over years of talking to a person. I just don't understand why they're so sure that poor boy did it. She gave me a weak smile. You might have been able to rest up in the hospitalum if it weren't for him. It's a wee bit nicer than the dorms, I have to say. It's a wee bit nicer than the dorms, I'd have to say. You don't think he killed her? I don't know if I'd go that far. It's less of a suspicion and more just... It's hard for me to reckon with purest random evil. Catherine was so good and wise and kind. For a lad to just murder her on a lark, I can't accept that. He'd have to have a reason, surely. Otherwise, the world is a much darker place than I'd believed. It's certainly a much dimmer place without Catherine. Moira is not sure. Let's see. Nothing new. Alright, and is not sure that the stable hand was the... Did the deed with no reason. Was there anything else you said that I should take a note of? According to Moira, Catherine was good and intelligent. And a bit of a prodigy, sure. And wasn't afraid to show it. Yeah. We sat in silence for a moment. I didn't dare rebuke Moira, nor did I have the energy. But as well as empathy, frustration was bubbling inside of me. I could fix these misconceptions. Evil is everywhere. Demons are everywhere. The Lord saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Genesis. Basic. Elementary. C++. The very foundation of our faith. A godless man could kill someone as wonderful as Catherine without a second thought. It became clear to me there and then. The lackadaisical and selfish attitudes surrounding crime, this disbelief in evil, something was very wrong here. Even Catherine's questions to me had bordered on blasphemous. These women were lost. Lost! And I am... Wait, what was his name again? Who did Lost? J.J. Abrams? And I am J.J. Abrams. Lost! My eyes snapped open. For a brief moment, I felt like I was spinning. It was like I had only just regained control of my head. My throat tightened, and I made the tiniest little retch, though thankfully nothing came out. Oh dear, sleepy. How rude of me to spring all of this on you now, after badgering you about needing to relax. This is a dorm, not a place of confession. No, rude of me to drift off like that. You have my deepest sympathies. Moira stood up, my clothes still bundled in her arms. I'm going to go and make sure these get washed for you, so you can get some sleep. And I'll send someone to collect you to show you where the baths are. There's some fresh night clothes under the bed. She's only telling her about that now. She made a few strides to the door, then turned around one more time. And I'll ask Darcy for some mint. Good for an upset stomach. And for breath. She gave me an impish little grin. Well, you said it, not me. I must have looked mortified because she immediately became apologetic again. Oh, don't take it the wrong way. Don't take it the wrong way. That's not your fault you've been sick. Oh, it's all right. Thank you again for everything. She closed the door, gently smiling warmly. I was left alone in my thoughts again. I must admit, I had been feeling pleasantly pampered for a moment before the mint comment. On a bath? Was that really so disgusting? Of course I was. I was a complete mess. Unclean, irritating, always saying the wrong things. Disrupting crime, expelling foul bile everywhere I went. What a mess. Okay. Gotta learn more about these sisters to solve the murder. Finally, I got some real rest. I was simply too tired to rehash the embarrassment I'd incurred over the course of the morning for a fifth or sixth time, and sleep finally overtook me. Hello? Hello? Darcy? Is Darcy ever gonna stop being high? I'm awake. Just a minute. I stepped out of the bed and hastily made it back up as quickly as I could. Dropping to my knees, I looked underneath the wooden frame for the nightclothes Moira had mentioned. Not hard to find. It was spotless under the bed save for a neatly folded gown. I retrieved it and slipped it over my head. It was a little big for me, but it did the trick. Are you decent? I'm coming! Sorry. Just had to find a nightgown. Okay. This is a new section, but I don't know what to call it yet, so let's do this. Darcy comes to see Hedwig. I guess we're still meeting the sisters, it's fine. Darcy comes to meet Hedwig. She looks like she's about to cause mischief. I opened the door to greet her. She had a pleasant expression on her face and looked slightly more together than what I saw her in the chapel. She had droopy eyelids and a serene aura about her, except for the fact that she was dripping wet. Moira asked me to bring you some mint, so I brought you some. You feeling better? Yes, actually. Quite a bit better. Darcy had a few leaves of mint in her mouth. Darcy had a few leaves of mint in her mouth and was chewing somewhat rapidly. Don't worry about me. I love this stuff. Girl? Grow it myself? Do you really? Yes. Comes to bring Hedwig some mint leaves. She grows them herself. She fluttered eyelashes and held out a hand, proudly showing off a large patch of full leaves. And she grows a lot of herbs, seems like. I mean, I grow a lot of things. Mint is definitely one of my favorites, though. Did you know it's really called mentha? No, I didn't know that. She offered the bag up to me, and I reached inside to grab a few leaves. Placed them in my mouth, tentatively, but was pleasantly surprised almost immediately. Oh, that is nice. That's right. You really grow this yourself? It's wonderful. Thanks for saying so, my friend. I just wish you hadn't gone and gotten yourself soaked in the process of getting it for me. You didn't have to do that on my behalf. Huh? Oh, no, this isn't because of the mint. It's not? No. Oh. Anyway, that time. She spun around on her heel and began shuffling away towards the hall. Wait, is there no lock on this door? No. We all trust each other here. Just make sure to knock. Then where was she killed at? Where was she killed in? Was she killed in her room? There's no locks. You don't want to walk in on Moira epilating. I see. That was embarrassing. The first time, anyway. Third time, it just started being a bit funny, I suppose. Oh, please! I suppose I didn't have any possessions that needed to be kept away from prying eyes and fingers. I was just used to looks. Darcy moved quicker than I would have expected. You could scarcely see her legs moving underneath her habit. She seemed to glide wherever she went, bobbing up and down ever so slightly. I followed, still feeling a touch indisposed. I didn't even know my way around the Abbey. To be walking around it in a breezy nightgown felt wrong, perhaps even disrespectful. I tried to make some conversation to distract myself. This is a very nice abbey. It's big and cold and probably haunted. What? Well, actually that's not true. It gets a little hot in the summer when the sun hits the cloister. And then you stand in the middle of the cloister. What do you mean haunted? Probably haunted. There's no such thing as ghosts. What makes you feel like the convent is probably haunted? Well, a lot of weird noises at night, or when I'm alone walking around. As they head to the baths, they chat. Darcy thinks the monastery, there you go. Due to weird noises. What does that look like on the stream? Oh, why does it flash like that? It's because it's weird full screen. It's not like real full screen. It's like fucking, or it's not windowed full screen. It's like real full screen, and it's fucking with everything. And things move around on their own sometimes. And also I think most buildings just get a higher chance of being haunted the older you are. And these buildings are very old. Well, I wouldn't worry about that. There really is no such thing as ghosts. I said this more to comfort myself than her, truth be told. All I could think about was the strange figure I'd seen from my window the night before. We took the stairs Catherine had let me down earlier. We walked past the door to the cloister, the web of hallways I hadn't seen yet. I'd be be a shame. Why does she look like she should be carrying a fucking lantern with her everywhere? It'd be a shame. It'd be nice to meet Catherine's ghost. Her placid expression didn't change, but I could sense a hint of sadness in her voice. Not wanting to press further, I quickly changed the subject. So, where are the baths? The baths. Not far from the kitchens. So we can make the water hot! How pleasant! It's nice. It's worth making the trips from the well, in my opinion. From the well? Doesn't the kitchen not have a faucet? It does, but we aren't using it at the moment. Really? Why not? Well, it isn't really working. Ah! Alright. Okay. They have to draw water from the well. Wait. The baths are near the kitchen, so they can have hot water, but the faucets are currently not working, so they must draw the water from the well. They did say well, right? It was from the well. Yep. As I stepped out into the rain, I suddenly realized where she was soaked through. Oh. I really hope you didn't trudge back and forth in the rain just for my bathwater. I did. But it's okay, I like the rain. You use a blue crayon to draw water? You should try aquamarine. I was currently struggling. Maybe Robin's eggshell blue. Robin's egg blue. I was currently struggling to not step on the wet stone path in my wooden sandals, and couldn't for the life of me understand what Darcy was talking about. Watch your step! Please promise me you'll go and warm yourself up after this. Oh, I will. I've gotta go help in the kitchen anyway, and it gets hot in there. Darcy is so weird. She led me into a room with a large window, with a wooden tub in the middle. It was certainly not originally a bathing room. The whole thing looked rather makeshift. There was a habit and frock folded in a neat pile not far away. And there we are. Enjoy, my liege. I didn't know what to make of that. I turned around to see if she looked annoyed or upset, but she had the same pleasant expression as ever on her face. If there's anything else I can get you, just shout. I'll probably hear it from the kitchen. Oh, thank you. Bye. Darcy fluttered eyelashes and broadened her grin before spinning around to scoot back outside, into the rain, closing the door behind her gently. Oh, Darcy's theme is gone. Feeling miserable once more, I shrugged off the nightgown and removed my veil and strode over to the tub. The water was quite warm and some pleasant-smelling leaves are floating on the surface. Oh! I took a good long look at myself reflected in the water. Horrible. I was pale and small, but any movement of my torso revealed ugly creases of flesh that made me wince. My nose was bent, I had spindly fingers. My eyes were dull and had bags underneath. My hair had been growing almost unhindered since taking my vows, save for an uneven line where I'd made sure to cut my bangs, keep them from creeping out under the veil and making my forehead itchy. All in all, I was a sad little creature. Bathsheba I was not. With a weary sigh, I stepped into the tub. The warmth was quite unlike anything else I'd ever felt. As I lowered myself into the water completely, I could feel my muscles relaxing, a tingling sensation all over as if the stress of the day was being washed away along with the dirt. Unfortunately, this relaxing effect didn't extend to my head. Ever since the Superior had knocked on my door, I felt as if all my thoughts had to be squeezed through a narrow tube one at a time. I had forgotten each word that made it out of my mouth by the time it was said. I was completely off balance. I even tried sticking my entire head beneath the water to see if it had the same cleansing effect on my mind. No such luck. Raising my head above the waterline again, I tried to organize my thoughts as slowly as they came. I'd made a complete fool of myself in front of Catherine and Margaret. Well, in front of everyone, actually. I had made Moira and Darcy waste their time attending to me like servants. No wonder Darcy had made that crack about my liege. They were probably all fed up with me already. Girl, Darcy is just joking. She thinks it's funny. One of them was a killer. What did I care about any of that? This place was in complete shambles. Just taking the Lord's name in vain. Girls being all bipolar and shit. Flagrant disrespect of the abbess. Skipping matins. No, in fact, disregard for the liturgy of hours in full. She's gonna start puking in her bath. A total lack of familiarity with basic concepts from scripture, or the proper procedure for Benedictine monastic communities. And murder! That was the top of the list. To hell with all of them. I ducked my head under the water again and exhaled as hard as I could, in a feeble attempt to expel the rage building inside of me. It worked, somewhat. A feeling of deep embarrassment replaced my anger. I leaned back and stared into the ceiling, ashamed. I tried to push every thought away, both guilt and anger, to try and enjoy the rest of my bath. It really was nice. I keep saying bath. I think it's bath. I wouldn't mind if someone brought the tub in here for me. I might never get out. Wait, say, while I have you here, would you like to hear a different story? It's shorter than my own, don't worry. It won't be too much of a detour. Alright. Let's see. Hedwig. Faces some self-esteem issues. While bathing, which turned to anger at the situation, at the other nuns, then back to embarrassment. Interlude. In 1483, Hedwig tells a story. Tell someone else's story. What an animal. This is supposed to be, I think, a bear? I think that's what it was? I don't know. I'm sure you've heard it before, but it's one that I've been thinking about a lot lately. Oh no, this is the behemoth. It's a Bible story, of course. No, I guess it is the bear. It is the bear. It's the fucking bear that ate the kids. That because they were calling Elisha bald or something. You of course know of Elijah and Elisha. Elijah ascended to heaven, and Elisha inherited his father's spirit, the sphere of God, with which he was able to perform miracles and so on and so forth. He could part waters like Moses, and heal blighted lands and rivers. But there's a passage describing a journey to Bethel that amuses me. You know what I'm speaking of, yes? Forsooth, Elisha went up from thence into Bethel, and when he went up by the way, the little children went out of the city and scorned him and said, "Go up thou, bold one! Go up thou, bold one!" And then when he had beheld, he saw them, and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And 2 bears went out to the forest, and rent 42 children of them. Soothly, Elisha went from thence into the hill of Carmel, and thence he turned again to Samaria. 42 children, torn apart by angry bears at the behest of Elisha. Rather extreme, wasn't it? It's funny. When I was locked in the cell the first time around, I never thought much about this part of the story. But it really is awful to think about, isn't it? Could you imagine being ripped to shreds by a wild beast just for calling a man bold? Only it mustn't be horrible, because God heard Elisha's curse and punished the rude little boys and girls justly. I've heard that a lot of people question if they really were children. Perhaps in the original Hebrew the word is little brutter. In Latin it certainly says children, and we're taught the text is inerrant. Which brings me to the part of the story that interests me so. Alright. The time some kids made fun of Alicia's baldness and he cursed them. And then 42 children were killed by bears. By a pair of bears. The text is inerrant, but the Bible as we know it is the translation. So surely there is room for some error. In fact, that version of the story I recited for you, that wasn't just me paraphrasing from the Vulgate for you. That was a passage translated by a man named John Wycliffe. No, of course I know you know who Wycliffe is. Who does not? As told, was translated by John Wycliffe. I don't know why this is important, but I'm writing down the name. Please continue to humor me. I am attempting to record everything I find relevant to this story. Imagine, perish the thought that you were some heathen listening to my tale. You'd appreciate the explanation, would you not? That is how I was trained to write chronicles. You try and put up with me if I sound like the superior. Anyway, as written in Latin, the story is as follows. Ascendit autem inde in battle, cumque ascenderet per viam queri parui, egressis sunt de civitate illudebant, e digentes ascende a calve. There you go. Quicum respexit. What is the X used for in? I guess it's just regular X in Latin. Respexit. Vidit eas et maledixit. Eis in nomine Domini egressique. Sud duo ursi de saltu et la cera verunt ex eis quadraginta duos pueros. Reading Latin, let's go. This is the Reading Latin stream. Many years ago, Wycliffe translated the Bible into English. The Archbishop at the time accused him of inserting nefarious messages into his translations. He thought Wycliffe was trying to rile the common people up to rebel against the Church. So sure they were of Wycliffe's heresy, they held a synod to argue for his expulsion from Oxford. Who was accused of attempting to inject secret messages to rile up the peoples. Uh-oh. What happened? VTube Studio? VTube Studio? VTube Studio is suffering. Hello? Okay. He was expelled from Oxford. Excommunicated? What was the word they used? Yeah, I guess it was expelled. Expelled. What is happening? Oh no, this is bad. Alright. They succeeded too. His Majesty Richard II banished him from the college. And it became an actual written law that no man... Wait a second. No man shall write against the Church. You both know the rest, of course, but you won't bite my head off for walking through it, will you? The Wycliffites were denounced. The heresy was thoroughly put to rest. That was nearly a century ago, so God forgive me for saying this. Wycliffe had interesting ideas to say about translation that often rattle around in my head. But I've gotten very sidetracked here, haven't I? Oh dear. Point is, I find it interesting that Wycliffe's translation kept the children part from the Vulgate Bible. He too must have felt the original Latin text was inerrant, and yet he was punished for his translation work. is happening here? Well, let me restart VTube Studio. Maybe? Let me restart it real quick. God forbid, but if the church as we know it crumbled many years from now, someone attempts Jesus using his Bible as a basis, will they keep that part like we kept it in the Vulgate? What does the story actually mean? It certainly seems a bit cruel. Maybe it means nothing. If it means nothing, is it necessary? If it is necessary, what does it mean? You must forgive me. I do sound a bit of a lullard at the moment, don't I? It is a rather impossible problem. 42 children have been mauled by bears at least 3 times now. Probably many more, as I doubt. Wycliffe is the only man who tried to write a Bible in his own language. And since I'm afraid I'm useless at Hebrew, I'll never know if they were meant to be at all. I suppose this is splitting hairs. If they were grown men and women, being attacked by a furious mother bear commanded by God's messenger is still a rather unpleasant way to go. Still clawed to death for a playground taunt. What a strange world. What is happening here? Hedwig wonders if the translation from the Vulgate, if the original Latin translation had was accurate to the Hebrew version. So you've already heard all this before. Please forgive me for taking up more of your precious time. Like I said before, you'll permit me a small indulgence here and there. Alright, so we've got a new chapter, perhaps? Even if I was not completely refreshed in spirit, the bath certainly did wonders for me physically. I could no longer count each individual bone in my body, aching at the very least. The noon bell rang. I stood up in the bath, scanning around for a towel of some sort. I spotted one, a simple piece of linen cloth, folded next to the habit Moira had washed for me. I stepped out of the bath while the bell was ringing and dropped to my knees, resting my elbows against the edge of the tub with my hands clasped together. I began reciting the Psalms for Sext. Canticum gradum ad te levavi oculos meus, qui habitas in caeli. Hello. I wheeled around with a start, twisting into an uncomfortable position, attempting to cover my shame and turn to face my visitor at the same time. Oh goodness, I'm so sorry. I was just coming to collect you for lunch and... It's alright, I was just reciting the office. Really? Which one? Sext? The noon office? Do you not... Well, yes! Well, since we break for lunch and at midday, we roll that one into prime. That was deeply embarrassing for several reasons. I rose to my feet, strategically covering myself. Moira politely held a hand in front of her eyes. Did I interrupt it then? In the chapel? I'd never blame you for it in that sense. But I began drying myself off with a towel, pressing it against my hair gently, and hastily running it along my body. I must confess that I'm a little... Alright, let's make it up. Moira comes to grab Hedwig for luncheon. interrupting Hedwig's noon office prayers. Noon prayers. She was sexting. Let's see. Moira explains that sex is often rolled into Prime. I must confess that I'm a little behind on all the offices today. I slept through matins as well. Matins? Oh, don't worry yourself about that. We roll matins into Prime as... What? I flung the towel to the ground in shock, as so dismayed I was. Moira, still holding her hand in front of her face. Wait, still holding her hand in front of her face. Moira, still holding her hand in front of her face, let out a nervous giggle. It's fairly normal as far as I know. We have morning prayer and evening prayer. We spent all day following the hours of the letter. We'd never get anything done. Hardly sleep at all. Were you really getting up in the middle of the night to pray? Yes. And dropping everything to recite psalms throughout your day? Yes. My goodness, that's so unfair. The superior never told you about how monasteries condense the hours? The bishop didn't either. No? I find it hard to believe, to be perfectly honest. How often do you take communion? Whenever the bishop is here, so every few months or so. This almost knocked me back onto the floor. I was used to receiving communion once a season, but I had been under the impression that I was a unique case. My needs differed from the rest of the sisters. I'd been in a permanent and all-encompassing relationship with God. These women did not seem to have the same devotion. I finally remembered that I was standing there like a fool and began to put my fresh clothes on. They smelt and felt lovely. Little dried leaves fell out of the sleeves and robes as I lifted them. I bent down to pick one of them up after I'd slid the cloak over my head. Those are from our garden. Aren't they nice? Extremely so. You really don't recite the hours as written. Alright. And really everything else. The bishop also only comes by to give communion every few months. As opposed to posted Hedwig's belief that they would be getting it more often. This isn't, I don't know, a prank? Why would I pull a prank on you? I have no idea. The superior just put the idea in my head, I suppose. At morning prayer. Oh, of course. Flora's the one to watch out for. She's full of youthful vigor. Or Darcy. Or, well, Catherine. Or Margaret. She looks sheepish. I can see why you might be wary of practical jokes. But please believe me when I tell you that condensing the hours into mornings and evening prayers is fairly standard around monasteries these days. Hedwig asks if it's a prank, and Moira says it's not, but mentions that Catherine, Darcy, Margaret, and Flora might do that sort of thing. When the newest book you've read is 1,000 years old, right? In fact, I think it might have been for a long while now. I suppose I'd have no way of knowing otherwise. Well, it's accepted. I don't think anyone's ever gone to hell for rearranging their calendar, if that's what you're asking. Are you dressed now? Just about. Moira lifted her hand from her eyes. Now would you look at that. Fresh as anything. Thank you very much for washing them. Oh, don't mention it. Hopefully you're feeling a little better now. Once we get some lunch in, yeah, you'll be good as new, I reckon. I'm looking forward to it, but, huh? This might sound silly, but if I go to evening prayer tonight and do the rest of the hours, I still would have caught up. Would you mind if I at least finish sext? No, not at all. Thank you very much. Ecis sicut oculi servorum in manibus dominorum suorum. I've never actually prayed for an audience. Would you like me to join you? Yes, that'd be lovely, actually. Moira beamed and walked over to the tub I'd been using. She kneeled as I had been kneeling earlier, and I joined her. The pleasant scent of the leaves in the bath still lingered above the water. Sicut oculi anculae in manibus domines suae. Ita oculi nostri ad dominum Deum nostrum donec misereatur nostri. Lot of Latin tonight. We completed the liturgy and left in silence. I felt bolstered by the light of prayer, and the bath and fresh clothes had left me feeling warm and content. Moira strode in front of me, leading me to the rectory. When we arrived, I took a deep breath. Bathing and prayer rejuvenated my body and spirit, but I was still nervous about facing everyone. Both because of the harrowing events of the morning, but because of my mission. I hadn't forgotten, I just had no idea how to begin. The rectory was a long room with a high ceiling. A large aged table already laden with the plates ran the length of the room. All the other sisters were there, and the superior was standing at the head of the table, appearing to hold court. Oh, wonderful. Are you feeling any better? Yes, very much so. Moira beamed and gently guided me to the foot of the table, where a stool was waiting. Oh, I couldn't. Please sit. So that everyone may be introduced to you. Properly, this time. This was the last thing I wanted, to be perfectly honest. But I obeyed. You smell nice. Thanks. You've already met Sister Darcy, of course. She tends to the garden and livestock, and is something of an alchemist. I prefer the title Alchivisionist. There you go. Let's see. At the luncheon, Mother Superior tries to introduce everyone to Hedwig properly. Of course. Sitting next to her is Eustace. Charmed. Eustace is a sacristan and librarian. Of course she's a librarian, you can tell because of the glasses. We actually have a great many rare books stored here that need to be taken care of. And read, most importantly. But all of them have been catalogued. Not all of them have been catalogued. I'm sure you and Eustace will get to know each other very well. She will be of great use to you as our new chronicler. This is Sister Flora. Okay, so she's the one that had the tufts of hair sticking out. She's our youngest oblate. She's 17. I'm 19. Are you really? My goodness, time flies. I wish. I've been stuck here for 5 years now. Oh, really? Stuck? Yes, stuck. Well, she's not yet found her calling, but the youthful spirit of rebellion gives Flora the energy to help out with various tasks around the Abbey. She is whatever. It's been here for 5 years. She hasn't found her calling. Okay. He's an alchemist. Well, what is Eustace is was a sacrist and librarian. Flora has is the youngest. Is the youngest, is a teenager who can help, I guess. You've met Moira already, of course. Yes, indeed. Moira's our infirmary, but also serves as our chamberlain and our hostler on the rare occasions we have visitors. Moira is the infirmary. That is, yeah. Chamberlain and hostler. I'm the closest thing to a doctor here. I'm the closest thing to a doctor here without, well, being a doctor, you know. Without having a man here, you mean? Oh, thank goodness for that, A polite laugh went around the table. On your right, Hedwig, is Sister Marta. On your right, Hedwig, is Sister Marta. Marta actually had many roles here, even before I was the prioress. She was the chronicler before I lost, and had also been our cantor. You just say that I'm old. That's no secret. I wouldn't dream of it. Was a previous chronicler and cantor. And was here even before Mother Superior. She used to gallop, now she barely canters. You have much wisdom and many surprises left in you, Miss Sister Marta. What do you do nowadays? I try to enjoy what's left of my life, dear. You run the cellars. Oh, let's see. You run the cellars, you mean? That's what I said. I said what I said. And a fine dumb job of running the cellars you do, I'll say. Alright, Sister Charity is almoner. Oops. So she collects alms. Alright, what accent should she have? I'm trying to give her an accent. Although there's not much although there's not much of that to be done around here, I'm afraid. So I mostly strive to do the same as Marta here. You help in the cellars. I enjoy life. Next is Sister Margaret. We've met already. Margaret is another almoner and also helps in the cellars. I'm a presenter as well. Is the head almoner, I guess. Margaret is also an almoner. And helps in the cellar, and she's also a what? She's also a presenter, or whatever that is. Why does it keep flashing when I really hate this full screen option. It really sucks. I helped Catherine a lot with her writing. Margaret is very talented. She's also a first foreign oblate. Thank you so much for explaining that on my behalf, Soup. Anyway, it's not completely true. It is completely not true, in fact. Oh, Sister Adela. I thought you were born in Spain. I indeed was born in Spain. That's foreign. Mother Superior. Please. She's not from England, therefore she's foreign. Which is another country. I was born in Spain as well. Mother Superior being casually racist, I guess. What I meant was... This should be good. Do you actually know where I was born, Soup? Don't call me that! Of course I do. You're first oblate from... outside the usual... here. The typical sphere of people who devote themselves to monastic life. Whole world's a sphere, your reverence. That's so true, Darcy. I'm just a nun doing my little part to spread the faith around the whole globe. Which is the entire purpose of being one, or so I'm told. I'm Irish. That's wonderful, Moira. Moira's just like, I want to be involved too. I'm Irish. Girl, please. I apologize, I did not mean to offend. I simply meant... No offense taken, Soup. I'm sure Hedwig knew what you meant. I can't believe they're bullying the Mother Superior right now. They're all just bullying her. Are you Coco just Irish? Well, well, well. Tough act to follow. You, of course, met Catherine. Her name is spelled with a K, but when speaking, we referred to her as Catherine I. Okay, it's Catherine 1. Our old chronicler we called Catherine 2. Alright, Mother Superior misspeaks and claims, Margaret is their first foreign, oblate. But, Marta and Adela are both from Spain. And Moira is Irish. Let's see. Catherine was, previously called Catherine 1, and Catherine was Catherine 2. We had a little contest for it, and Catherine 2 was very gracious in defeat. Crying shame what happened to her. Catherine is our... Come to think of it, Catherine, what is your title? I dabble. Instagram nun. Sister Adela. She was actually a newest oblate before you decided to join the congregation. That's right. Feels good to move up the rank. Adela has not really settled into her role yet. Like Flora, she helps out wherever she can. And finally... Alright, so... It is not yet settled into a role. We've met already. I gulped. I'm the prioress. Angela is the prioress. My second in command. We sat in silence for a moment. I'm for Wales. We're just going like, well, here's where we're from. Why did I put Wales in quotes? Thank you, Darcy. Well, now that we're all caught up, everyone's heads bowed simultaneously. I hastily lowered my head as well to join in the hushed whispers. Let us eat. I like turtles! On my plate were 2 thick slices of bread, far thicker than I'd ever been given in my cell, with some kind of boiled meat and a crumbly hunk of white cheese. Glanced around, everyone was already digging in with their fingers. I followed suit, starting with the bread. It was light and fluffy, with a crisp crust. A finger appeared above my plate suddenly. Duck. What? Meat. It's duck. With herbs. From your garden? That's right. She pinched off a piece. I pinched off a piece and marveled at how juicy it was. I put it in my mouth and it was overwhelmed. Wow! I helped? Yeah, you killed the duck. Well, yes. Because you cry if you have to do it. That's right. I raise them and name them and love them. You shouldn't do that for starters. Name them? Yes, or love them. I'm good at names is the thing. Darcy, please! Alright, Darcy raised the ducks. Where do I put this? Alright, let's see. Eustace is the one that killed the ducks. This is important facts. Because Darcy doesn't want to kill them, as she raised and named and loved them. The food is also seasoned with Darcy's herbs. Darcy claims she's good at names. This is important data about stuff that will be important for the mystery. That's true. And once I've named something, it's impossible not to love it. What was the duck's name? I'd offer my compliments, if it was still alive anyway. No clue? She doesn't let me tell her which ones are being slaughtered. Oh, hang on, but you'd still... She'd still know which ones... Would she? You'd find out eventually, right? Which ones are missing? Why do we have these? I guess they didn't want to pop her in here. Yeah, she figures it out eventually when she checks on the animals. Look, it makes sense. How does that make sense, Darcy? I'm gonna be a little sad about it no matter what, but I can't stop it from happening. But I can put it off so I'm not sad about it at lunch, which is a horrible time to be sad. Does knowing you're going to be sad later not make you sad now? No. Why? Because the duck tastes good. Nobody seemed to be able to argue with that logic. That's our Darce. That's our Darce! Girl, please. She's so silly. I love her. Everyone continued eating in silence for a moment. How do you tell the difference between the animals? Wait. How do you tell the difference between the animals? Knowledge. I involuntarily shuddered involuntarily all of a sudden, as I felt a hand beneath the table, tapping my knee. I looked over to my right at Marta, who smirked. She tapped my knee again as the others continued their conversation. Is it difficult killing the ducks? Not really. They're not much of a match for me, if I'm being honest. Eustace, these ducks need to get on my level. They need to train. They need to start lifting because they can't touch this. Why? What is that phrasing, Eustace? I suppose you have a knife in that situation. I assure you I could easily defeat a duck even without a knife. Why? What about 2 ducks? Absolutely. 3? Again, definitely. I think you're overestimating how much damage a duck could do to me. I am an adult woman. The tapping on my knee continued. She, still smirking, tilted her head down, indicating I should look lower. I did, and saw that she was holding a handful of something. Understanding finally, I held out my hand. She nodded and returned to her meal. Ducks can be really mean. Have you ever seen an angry duck? Yes! They don't love being killed, funnily enough. What? They can, see you coming? They know they're about to die? I don't ambush them if that's what you're wondering. They usually figure it out by the time I pick them up by the neck and put them on the chopping block, though. How would one sneakily attack a duck? Very easily, probably. They're ducks. But you don't attack them that way. Correct. Why not? Again, I feel like you're all severely overestimating the power of a single duck and underestimating me. Everyone wonders... how many ducks it would take to win in a fight against Eustace. And underestimating me, a fully grown woman? How many ducks would it take before you think you'd lose? I could defeat every duck! There is a person on Twitch that I follow whose name is Don't Fight Ducks. He would not like this conversation. It is simply not a problem for me. Every duck in the world? Come on. I could defeat infinite ducks! They are small and have little necks. I could kill a duck by accident. It simply doesn't require any measurable amount of my strength. You would get tired eventually. I would not. She's very confident about ducks. You're talking as if they're ants. I think it requires a little more energy to kill a duck than an insect. Especially if there were a lot of them at once. I would swing my arms. I would kick out my legs. A group of ducks would crumple immediately in a fight against me. Okay, now I'm thinking about you killing a lot of ducks, and it's making me really sad. Because I'm imagining you killing all the ducks I'm looking after with huge kicks and punches, and I love those ducks, and I hate this conversation now. Sorry, Darcy, I didn't mean to upset you. But speaking hypothetically here, I'm not gonna kill all your ducks. That's okay, thank you, Eustace. She's not gonna kill them all at once, anyway. Just the ones we need for food. She's trying to get out of it. She thought we wouldn't notice. Hedwig. Madam? She stood up, holding her empty plate. I would like to see you in my office when you're finished eating. I like how she just, let that conversation go. Just yeah, this is what they do. There is no stopping them. This is going to happen regardless. I didn't know what they were. I just stuck my hand out. I beg your pardon? Oh, nothing. They're just dried apples, my dear. Oh. What? Come on, Marta, give me some too. Absolutely not. You've been a little cunt lately. Marta! Crone. Got a snipe. Runyon. That's enough. The superior looks irritated. Flora and Marta looked as if they were having a grand old time. Hedwig, I'd just like to speak with you privately about your new duties as chronicler now that you're feeling better. Oh, yes, of course. Thank you. One of the others will show you where my office is when you're ready. She strode out of the room magnanimously. Take your time. Enjoy the rest of your luncheon. I started nibbling on some cheese. Everyone was watching me. I'm happy to share the apples, if you'd all like. There was a dull roar of agreement from everyone in the room, all except for Angela, who had been pretending to ignore everyone for the entire meal. I broke up the handful of dried fruit into 2 piles and passed them to either side of me, keeping 1 piece for myself. Thank you kindly. So now that Elder Man is gone, Do tell us about yourself. I realized that even now, after I had no more candied fruits to give, everyone in the room was staring at me with intense interest. Well, I don't know what I could say that I didn't say this morning. What did you say this morning? I must admit, wiping up your sick has overridden any memory of what you'd said prior. Sorry. Catherine shrugged, smirking. Margaret waved a hand. Give us a chance to reflect on the nature of servitude to God, and so on. I could see Angela raising one of her eyebrows out of the corner of my eye. Anyway, Hedwig is adapting wonderfully. She had some trouble with the stairs, but got the hang of them quickly. I imagine you probably have some trouble with stairs if you've been locked in a little room for that long. Yes, whereas we're all locked in a big room, aren't we? With each other for company. Locked is a strong word, Catherine. You're right, as usual. We aren't locked in. The hill is more of a moat. Honestly, you sound like Flora sometimes. Or a hill? What other metaphor is necessary? Metaphor? That's a big word. As expected, however, from our resident librarian Kombucha. On the subject of ducks, I was merely speaking in hypotheticals. Oh, that's another good word. What does hypothetical mean, Eustace? I regret saying anything. I'm being earnest! It means mind control. You're thinking of hypnosis? Breathe for 3. A loud cheer went up around the table. Darcy, let me out, please. Eustace scooted her chair back with a loud squeak and stormed out of the room. Oh, come on, Eustace. Eustace, please come back. Perhaps this is rich of me to say, but I think you lot don't know when to lay off sometimes. I do not understand in this case. One minute she is talking about fighting ducks, now she is said we are joking about fancy words. Bad timing, I think. She's doing her best, but she's quite torn up. We all are. It's horrible. Hedwig, dear, if you don't know, I know. As I said, she was joking about killing ducks. I would have thought that would have been worse than joking about words. You're young. It's never the obvious things that remind some folk of grief past. Eustace is a librarian and... Catherine was the chronicler, of course. Peas in a pod they were. Not just them. We'll miss her very much. It isn't a competition. Flora looks as if she was about to mouth off in response, but at the moment... Eustace re-entered the room, carrying a large wooden bowl. Oh no, what's happening? What the hell happened in here? We were wondering where you'd gone off to. We were worried that you were upset. Eustace said nothing as she walked to the table with the bowl, smiling gently. That's plain dirty use. Wait, that's plain dirty use. I have no idea what you're talking about. I forgot I'd made this to celebrate our newcomer, that's all. I believe you. Gay lead? After you've all had candied apple? Goodness. What's gay lead? Puddin'? Alright, let's see here. They squabble for a bit. Let's see, what's it called? Marta hands Hedwig some dried apples. Mother Superior leaves to, tells, Hedwig to meet her later about her job, about chronicling. And leaves. With Mother Superior gone, they all ask Hedwig to talk about herself. This leads to a small squabble where folks make fun of Eustace using big words. He walks out, and comes back in. She walks out upset, mostly because she was reminded of Catherine, but comes back with a bowl of Gaylead, whatever that is. Pudding. I guess a sort of pudding. Eustace later allowed the sweet-smelling treat into everyone's plates. When it was Angela's turn to be offered some, she pushed a chair back and stood up, jolting the entire table forward and causing everyone's plates to wobble. Darcy and Moira had to hold onto the dishes to keep them from spilling over onto their robes. Is everything all right, Angela? No. With a glare, she seemed to look with every pair of eyes in the room. Angela stalked out of the rectory hall. I doubt she'll be coming back with pudding. Angela seems upset by a lot of things and leaves. I was in considerably higher spirits after eating. I excused myself after finishing the Gaylead. I got a little self-conscious about how long I was taking to meet the Superior. Even though I'd been there had been a few awkward moments, I didn't really want the conversation to end. Still feeling like I should be responsible and punctual, I excused myself partway through a continued discussion about what animals Eustace could best in hand-to-hand combat. Darcy helpfully volunteered to show me to the office. It was on the first floor. Further down the hallway, she'd taken me down on the way to the kitchen and bath. There you go. Thank you. And thank you again for the mint as well, and for showing me around before. Oh, and I helped cook lunch. Oh, well, thank you for that as well. I didn't make all of it, but enough that it's sad to not hear a thank you from the others and nice to hear it from you. Well, in I go. In you go. Enter. I opened the door and slipped inside. Darcy watched me with a big grin still plastered into her face. The Superior's office was small but meticulously kept. It was rather plush compared to the rest of the rooms I'd seen so far. A grand window looked into the garden, and there was a door off into the left that I presumed to lead to a private bedchamber. The Superior herself sat at a thick oaken desk in a rather ornate chair. How are you feeling? Much better, thank you. Good. Good. How has your morning fared? Setting aside your little fainting spell. I rummaged around in recent memory for a reassuring anecdote. Oh, it had been an interesting experience. I managed to run straight into Sister Angela on the way to the chapel, and Sister Catherine introduced me to Sister Margaret. Uh-huh. Those two. Try not to let them rope you into any schemes. No, of course. They're both incredibly adept at sneaking around. Both of them have managed to scare me witless with their creeping. I'm relieved I'm not alone, then. Indeed. Do you have any leads yet? Leads? Let's quick save. Any idea who could have killed Catherine yet? Any hint at all? Anything to follow up on? No? It is a pity. Mother Superior, I've been out of my cell for all of 6 hours, if that. For much of that time I was ill, and then asleep, and then alone in a bathtub. What clues could you possibly expect me to have already? Did you really think someone would slip up and tell me over luncheon? No. I suppose I shouldn't have counted on anything quite so miraculous happening. He turned around and stepped toward the large window. Some thorny bushes were growing underneath, and a few trees dotted the path between the building and the garden. Light and shadow danced across her habit as she paced back and forth slowly. I don't even know how Catherine died. I've heard some mournful whispers from the sisters I've met. but I haven't a clue as to what actually happened. When did she pass? How? Where is her body? Sister Catherine was found in the cloister on the first morning of November. Alright. Literally the day after. Holy shit. Alright. During the meeting with Mother Superior, she was led there by Darcy. Hedwig learns the circumstances of Catherine's death. She was found in a closet on November 4th, the 1st of November. The night after she last met with Hedwig. Found in the cloister, not the closet. In the cloister. She was lying on her back, with a sword plunged into the earth just above her. So not stabbing through her. Her head had been cut off and arranged in her hands. Okay. She became a Dullahan. It was ghoulish. Dullahanish. So that's what was in the grass. I thought it was a crucifix. Yes. No one, least of all me, could bear to remove it. It's become something of a monument to Catherine, I suppose. Rather grim. A bloodied sword feels like an awful way to remember... rather grim. A bloodied sword feels like an awful way to remember someone. You'll get no argument from me. But these women are strange sometimes. That would be true regardless of my suspicions. There's something funny about how, the cursor is counted as part of the line, which causes the line to wrap sometimes. Outside the blade is actually clean. It was clean even when I found it. It was. As a memento? Monument? So either they cleaned it after they killed her, or would they use something else? Yes. Angela found the stable boy hiding in the yard without a speck of blood on him, but Sister Darcy discovered his cloak elsewhere. It was quite tarnished, and Angela surmised that he'd used it to wipe down the blade before attempting to flee. Alright, let's see here. Let's do this. The circumstances. The stable boy was found. His clothes were clean, but his cloak was found elsewhere. That was stained. Angela suspects it was used to wipe down the sword. But why? Why bother? A sound theory at the time. I have my doubts now, though. Who found the body? Sister Charity on one of her morning walks. The body was found by Charity on one of her morning walks. The round woman you met at lunch. Don't call someone round. I didn't mean it as an insult. Go up, thou bold one. What happened to Catherine's body? If you're hoping to play surgeon and examine her for clues, I'm afraid she's already been interred. I understand. That was actually a small relief. As determined as I was to find Catherine's killer and help bring them to justice, a dead body was the last thing I see. As of now, the body has already been interred. Where was he buried? The cemetery is a short hike from here on the hill. I can have one of the sisters show you there, should you feel the need to visit. Say a few words. Not that you could have known her, I suppose. What a great idea! What if the murderer, since you don't believe it was the suspicious boy with blood on his shirt, decides to offer me as well? Perhaps while taking me on a pleasant hike, alone, up to this cemetery. I must say, it feels rather difficult involving myself with the others when you've directed me to spy on them. You make it sound so ugly. You're seeking justice. I had no choice in the matter. I'm sticking my neck out based on your intuition. Let's not fight about it. What's done is done. You are no longer an anchoress. You are free to do whatever you wish once the killer is captured. I was perfectly happy where I was. Don't be ridiculous. You might as well have been a prisoner. If that was so, I'd have been your prisoner. I really, truly do not want to fight about this. Yes, so you keep saying every time I question something. Stop giving me this insolence. By God, where is the awkward little titmouse who introduced herself to service this morning? She's standing in front of you, rather upset about the situation she's been thrust into. You are not but a bratty child. A woman, a member of our family, had her bloody head cut off, and all you can think about is your own comfort. These people are not my family, you least of all. I am your superior. I am your abbess. You are my charge, and you will do as I say. I've been as accommodating and kind as I possibly can in asking your assistance, but make no mistake. I do not need to ask, nor will I in the future if I require something of you. Guarde ad formicam opigeret consideravias eius et disce sapientiam. Quae cum non habeat ducem nec praecatorem nec principem. Parat estate cibum sibiet congregat in mese quod comidat. I am neither ant nor sluggard, abbess. I will respect your wishes as my superior, but I am not a soldier awaiting commands. They're just spitting Latin at each other now. Are you surprised? I must admit I surprised myself at this moment as well. Maybe my humors were still off kilter. Maybe I was still feeling meek and embarrassed all morning. Hedwig blows up at the superior. Her emotions finally bubbling over. Or boiling over, rather. Perhaps I, free from myself for the first time in many years, was trying out new behaviors to see how they fit me on the way one tries the way one tries on a new cloak at the market. Or maybe, just maybe, it was something else. Do you think Darcy could have been right when she said this place was haunted? I'm sorry. Once again, I am being unfair. Please try to understand. I have so much love for this place. These holes were my responsibility, and if it all falls apart, I don't know what I'd do. If you truly believe the stable boy did not do it, I could so easily throw him to the wolves, don't you see? I do not mean to throw you to them in this place. I meant to take a more difficult path here. I would rather stake my reputation on seeking the truth than condemn an innocent boy for my own gain. It would not be right. I understand. I could feel myself becoming smaller, meeker again, deflating like an empty water skin. If you want me to start truly investigating things, I need somewhere to start. I can't just hope to stumble into the answer. May I speak with the accused? The stable boy in the hospitalum? An obvious but nonetheless excellent idea. I felt so trapped by my position leading the convent, despite this investigation ultimately being my responsibility. You aren't staking anything? She's making Hetty well, I think she's doing it because she can't do anything, right? She has to keep everyone from figuring it, like, the suspects are all the sisters in the convent, so she's trying to prevent anyone from knowing that she's suspects anything. Because once they start suspecting things, we know everyone is sneaky as heck here. Once they start suspecting things, any clues can go bye-bye, you know? Like, she's in an unfortunate position where she can't just straight up ask anything. Nobody really trusts her with this kind of information. I didn't dare think of involving myself so directly, but you could speak with him. I will take you to the hospitalum. In secret, of course. I'll arrange a time and send for you under the pretense of more chronicler business. We also know everyone is in everyone's business, it's true. I would still pose my first question to you again, however. Think hard. Has anything stuck out as particularly unusual to you? Everything is unusual to me. I was fighting back tears now. Meek. Everything. Did Catherine tell you I barely made it down the stairs this morning? In my mind, I knew what stairs were, but I can't remember if I'd ever actually walked up or down any before today. It will take some time to adjust. I'm not sure I will ever fully adjust. Have faith. If I could offer one small observation at least. If there's anything I find strange, it's how... everyone seems. So you felt it too. I'm glad it was not just my own superstition. Everyone seems happy. Especially at the luncheon, they were joking, laughing. I suppose I'd have no way of truly knowing, but the congregation certainly isn't behaving in the way I'd expect them to, knowing one of them just died. It is odd, isn't it? I suppose. Your instincts went wrong in asking for my help. I changed the subject quickly. I did not think the superior, I did not want the superior to think I was happy with her choice and my situation. After she clams down, the superior having a chat with the stable boy at the hospitalum. For more information. Hedwig also notes that everyone seems too calm despite the death. God forbid. Oh, a question. Is it true that the hours are compressed here? A morning service and an evening office that encompasses every office? Yes. That is fairly standard in most monastic communities nowadays. Why didn't you tell me that? My cell wasn't far away. You knew how to use the stairs. The bishop forbade it. Why? Because an anchorite's entire purpose is to do the things normal people cannot. She was right. I tensed and untensed my hands a few times, unsure what to do with myself. I was to bear burdens no one else was expected to, all alone in there. You thought otherwise? I don't know. I suppose I never really considered it. I just read scripture and theology all the time. I had no idea in my mind of what an abbey was supposed to look like, and I thought even if my role was different, everyone else's would be at least similar. Things are different when you have responsibilities. The day-to-day tasks of earthly life, as much as the monastery reduces them to their basics, are still quite time-consuming. Animals must be tended to, food must be grown and prepared, work arises and must be done. Besides, you had your own work to do. Read books to copy, scripture to commit to memory, prayers for the townspeople to amplify. What? You were given written prayers to say for people. That was one of your core duties. Hey, I was giving no such thing. Now is a very poor time for oh, that's interesting. Alright. Among Hedwig's duties as anchoress, she was intended to take a burden, a larger burden than the others, including hourly prayers instead of the compressed prayers everyone else did. However, she was supposed to have received weekly prayers, regular prayers, or prayers, written prayers, to pray regularly for the folks outside, but Hedwig never received any. Now is a very poor time for jokes. I'm being completely serious. I have no idea what you're talking about. I copied books, I prayed the hours. I was never given anything else to pray for, save the occasional visitor to the hagioscope's prayers. She gave me a piercing, icy glare. Then, as if a set of strings holding her upright had been cut, she collapsed into her chair. I don't understand. We are very far away from the nearest village or town here. Nonetheless, we are here and we serve the people of Linborough and their needs. Offer them help with their prayers. Of course, I would have happily done so if I'd received any. Because we're up on this hill, we sent supplies from the village. Things we can't grow ourselves, essentials, the occasional holiday luxuries, and so on. She reached down to a drawer under her desk, pulling out 2 small cups and a carafe. She uncorked the container and poured some dark liquid into both cups. Wine. Drink up. She slid one of the cups towards me with her own. I took it gingerly. I had, of course, had wine before, but this smelled different. This is nicer than anything you've had brought to you, I'd wager. One of the aforementioned occasional luxuries. Drink it, please. I braved a sip. She was right, it was different. For one thing, it was quite strong. The superior took a big swig of hers and continued. When you were brought here and made to take the vows, one of the first things that crossed my mind was how inconvenient it would be to expect the people of the village to trek up here every time they needed spiritual aid. Why, it'd be positively cruel to make the children walk all the way to the anchoress themselves. Old men with walking sticks, you get the picture. And since we're all the way up here on this lonely hill, I thought, why, I know what would make things easier. I offered the townsfolk a simple idea. They're an educated sort down there, you see. Not like us. Well. She waved her cup toward the door. More than them. So I told the people to write their prayers down, give them to the young man who brings us supplies. We'll sort them and pass them on to the anchoress here. And did they? I saw the envelopes, yes. Many times. I don't understand. The abbess took a final pull from a cup and slammed it back onto the desk. Giving those letters to you was Catherine's responsibility. Aha! So what happened? So instead of giving them, Catherine just had little chats. That's the Tower of Babel. All covered with thin plaster. What does that mean? I didn't know what to say. The woman who had come to the hagioscope so many times. You know what? I think it's fine to end it here for today. I did just save, right? Alright. Let's reload that again. I skipped through too much. Oh wait, I want to take that picture actually. That's a good one. No, dang it! There you go. Alright. Now let's save proper. Alright. So yeah, this seems like a good place to stop. We got a big little reveal. I don't know if we're gonna let's also proper save here. I don't know if we'll be continuing this on Thursday. I was mostly just picking this because I wanted, you know, something that was simple, didn't require much stuff. So maybe we'll play something a little bit more intense on Thursday. Or maybe we'll continue this. I don't know. This game is destroying my voice. There's so much talking. But yeah. That is gonna be it for me today. We're gonna end a little bit early. This has been more interesting than the first bit led you to think. Well, what did the first bit lead you to think? Which first bit? The part where it was a bunch of dudes arguing about killing the king, or the talk with Catherine? But yeah, so far it's interesting. We haven't had any like big information drops at the moment, so I don't think we'll have trouble catching up even if it does take a while for us to get back to this. This is just trying the game out so far. I'll figure out what we're doing on Thursday. Maybe we'll do more of this. Who knows? But yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you all for, for watching me stumble through words a lot. For those of you on YouTube, thank you so much for hanging out. Let me know if you want more of this soon. I was thinking of going back to do more Voices of the Void, but like as like a just start a new playthrough. But if we're if folks are interested, I might do this on like Saturdays or something like that. We'll see. But yeah, for those of you on YouTube, this is the end of stream. The rest of us on Twitch are gonna find somebody to raid. So hope you all have a good night. And yeah, hope to see you again Thursday for whatever I end up playing. I don't really got much else to say. So hope you have a good rest of your day, and don't get murdered like Catherine did, I guess. Later, bye!